Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. And today we have with us Godless Sewing.
How's it going?
We'll see who else wanders in.
Okay, so what is today? What is it like? What was I didn't look at I had this whole speech prepared and I got to look at the thumbnail again.
It's supposed to be Reach as High as You Can Day.
Okay.
That if you have some goal or aspiration that you feel has been out of reach, you're supposed to try to jump a little higher, reach a little further.
When I saw that, it made me think of when I was homeless almost 17, 18 years ago. And I was what we would call habitually homeless, where I had a job, but when I dropped out of college and I came back to LA and I was kind of farting around, floating around, and long story short, I made something of myself. And I always like to talk about that because it's possible, it's not about being rich or driving a Ferrari. It's about putting a roof over your head and being able to help those around you. And I always view that as a positive. Hey, Hans P. Hansen. I always view that as a positive because I thought there was no ending in sight what was happening in my life. I thought I was going to be homeless forever. I would lose hope at times. I would go through despair, but it didn't last forever, and I made something of myself. And I think it's important that we don't all have to be millionaires. We just have to help ourselves first.
Yeah, well, it's only been in the last year that I felt I've really, been in a position much to help other people. But well, then again. I've spent most of my adult life raising other people's kids. So.
If I were you, I would be talking so much trash. It's not even funny because that is something I talk to people about. Like, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions who, don't even raise their own kids, but they'll come online and tell people how to raise their kids, So you did something that the average person does not participate in nowadays. And I think, that needs to be noted.
Well, I do think it's important to give the next generation the best chance we can, and whether they're my kids or not, doesn't really matter. Because the fact is that when we get to the point that we're not able to take care of ourselves, we're going to be depending on a stable society to do it.
And you need functioning, stable people to help you. I think about that all the time. Because I work with people with special needs, and I always think about my son's future, which is scary as hell if you watch the news, But there has to be people in place who are there to help others and that are okay with themselves and financially can,
Yeah.
Because if you're struggling, you can't help anybody, And I know upward mobility is impossible nowadays. I know. But I'm just saying, like, I took myself out of a horrible situation.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive that you could get yourself out of that kind of situation. I found it being homeless twice, but yeah, I always had to depend on, somebody else kind of giving me a leg up to get out of that.
I literally started by scrubbing toilets in Carl's Jr. by working for Carl's Jr. to the point where when I first worked there, I didn't even have my own register. And when I stopped working there, I had my own store in Portland, Oregon. But it was because I didn't want to be homeless forever. It was one of those things. And for as much as I talk trash about corporations, I saved my money and they helped me along the way. They didn't help me in any other way than giving me a job, than employment, but they helped me along the way.
Yeah. Well, that's, both of the times I was homeless, I was working full time.
Exactly.
It just didn't necessarily mean I could afford an apartment.
Same thing. And I like to stress that a lot because a lot of the times we harp on homeless people and we'll say, oh, they're junkies, they're this or they're that. A lot just had a bad lot in life, and most are have some underlining mental issue that hasn't been dealt with. And let me tell you, folks, even what we consider the slightest anxiety will ruin someone's life if it's undiagnosed.
Yeah, well, even for me, I've got the diagnosis. It doesn't mean I get much help with it. The social anxiety can be crippling at times.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And there are people, even when I was homeless, on my days off, I would go hide because I didn't want to be around people. I would go to the beach and go as north as I could before I'd have to come back. And I think it's important to stress that not every single person you see on the street is out there for drugs. And let's not forget that in America, not most, but a high majority of people you see on the streets are veterans.
Yep.
Hello,
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Sorry, I could not get a signal down by the riverbank, so I had to come to the top of the bluff. It takes a little while to get here.
Yeah, much better now.
Now I have Credence stuck in my head.
There we go. We are overlooking the city of La Crosse.
Ooh.
From the Minnesota side of the Mississippi River. The big highway that you see there is I-90 as it crosses the river. You can't actually see the river from here. You're seeing some of the backwater areas. French Island is ahead of you, which is a very large island on the west side. That's all Wisconsin. Minnesota doesn't start till just below this bluff, halfway across the actual river, not the backwaters.
So you are quite literally on the border.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Taco Bell time.
Oh, I miss those old commercials.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Too bad. That stuff. You know what? I love Taco Bell, but Taco Bell does not love me.
Yeah, I hear that.
That's a common complaint with Taco Bell.
I stopped eating it years ago because I just got tired of torturing myself.
Taco Bell runs from the border.
But do you this is a question for the panel. Do you guys still eat fast food? And I'm a Ninja Turtle. I eat pizza at least twice a week. It's a question.
Well, yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, there's definitely some I will eat. Oh, here comes a guy walking his dogs.
Awesome. But do you guys eat like McDonald's or like Burger King? Because I think that stuff is genetically engineered to kill you. But I also eat it.
I don't.
Hey, Jeff.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got salt and sugar and grease. Those are the triumvirate.
Guys, so just check my microphone's working.
It works.
Yep, you're fine.
Great. Sometimes when I join on my phone, this microphone doesn't always work straight away. So
yeah, we hear you.
Weird.
I have a lapel mic for my camera that I make videos with. It took me so long to get used to it, to not like try to put it close to my mouth. It took me a while because those mics work well.
Purple, does this shot have a big purple hat in the way?
No.
Okay.
Ooh, is that hat homemade though? It looks fuzzy.
Yes, that was made by a very talented sloth.
Oh, okay. It looks well made from what I see.
I'm only seeing the corner of the hat, but if you tip the camera up slightly higher, we'd see more of the landscape because about a third of it's taken up by your windshield wiper.
Oh, okay.
What are you drinking, Jeff?
I'm drinking something called Grand Cru. It's a Belgian. I got bought as like a selection of Belgian beers. This is quite a strong one. It's like 9.5% alcohol, so it's quite a strong beer.
That actually is strong. Even here in the States, that would be considered.
That's quite nice,
strong.
actually. That's quite nice. Bit sort of the old Brussels champagne, you know.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, in the States, you don't find many beers that are more than like 5%.
Natural ice I used to drink Natty Ice. Oh, 25 years ago. It was like, for a 12 pack, it was $3, but it had that much alcohol in it.
Trouble with that is that goes down way too blimmin' smooth, and I've got to remember I'm gonna have to sip this one, not down it.
Oh heck yeah, that was my problem back in the day. If I didn't eat anything, I would get wasted real fast.
In high school, we would buy Wiedemann's Bohemian Special. It was in those days, it was $1.09 for a 6-pack, and you bought the bottles because you always wondered which bottle was going to be the blank label. Bottles came through blank labels, upside down labels, half torn labels. It was pretty cheap beer.
Back when humans actually were in the packing process.
I have no idea what their setup was or even where they were from.
When I was a kid, we used to drink Lowenbrow, and we thought we were so cultured. And one day, my dad caught us, and he's like, "If you're gonna drink beer, at least drink some real beer." We thought we were so cultured, because we could pronounce Lowenbrow. I miss all that stuff.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hello. Sorry, hopped in before setting on my headset, so give me a sec.
Hi, Sammy.
We had 2 days of 80 degrees, and now we've had 2 consecutive days of like almost 40 and 50. The weather needs to make its mind up.
Yeah, we had 84 degrees last week, and last night it was snowing.
Exactly. I'm about to put a vest on in a minute. I've enjoyed having the door open and just having the beautiful scenery, but it's cold today.
It's 36 here right now.
See, I'm saying something happened. Global warming.
Oh, we got a visitor, an eagle, over on camera right. It's probably
what's so funny? Like, you have eagles and this beautiful view. If I was to go to the park, we could play Spot the Crackhead. I don't even take my son to the park anymore because that is a highway there. That's beautiful.
That's really nice scenery.
We have crackheads too. There's like 5 or 6 of them downtown.
Only 5 or 6?
Yeah.
We have 5 or 6 every 5 or 6 square feet.
Yeah. That's every block, isn't it?
Okay, Sam, we've got a question. Is it your birthday this Saturday?
Yes.
Happy birthday, honey.
Yay, happy birthday.
Are you going to be 20?
19.
72.
Yeah, no.
I'm jealous, Ox. I'm jealous. $72 is paradise. So I gotta see what town that was, Sam and Jeff, but they showed people getting in a fist fight outside of a pub, and they were like, "Oh, business back to business as usual in the UK."
That could be any town up and down the country.
Right, okay.
I woke up.
Let me get my tablet. I can have a look at the news because I've missed that story. That story.
I saw it on Twitter and I was giggling, just giggling.
Thank you to the people in the chat. And Will, I've not seen it, but I assumed there'd been at least a dozen fist fights yesterday and the day before.
I find the entertaining part of it that people having a fist fight at a pub in the UK actually makes news.
Yeah, that's how bored we've been.
Yeah, the fact that it makes news shows that we've been inside for the last year.
I want to start a list. I was thinking about this earlier today. I was at a friend of mine's car shop, and it's just him and the owner of the shop.
Oh,
and their bathroom has a sign on it that says "Man's Room," MAN room, man's room. And
there's been a few actually.
And I go in because I had to pee, and they said, "Yeah, you can use that." And I went, and the seat was up, of course. And so I dropped this seat, which was spotless clean. And I peed, and then when I got up, I put the seat back up. They didn't hear that, but they still screamed as I was coming out the door, "Make sure the seat's back up."
Oh wow!
That was only fair. Anyway, so that got me thinking, and I think I would like to make a list of stupid things men say. And the first thing that came to mind, because a song called Russell Crowe, what is the name?
If you want to make a list, do you have several lifetimes?
Okay, so my thing is, as somebody who's hi Kitty, hi.
Okay.
Well,
As
let me start the list. The song title was "The Night I Punched Russell Crowe in the Head," and and so I started thinking about fights and bar fights and stuff like that. And I think the number one thing we should start with is let's step outside. Yeah, that's just a dumb thing to say. It's going to be trouble. They say it
That's a bit
anyway,
like,
and then
that's
they
a bit
do
like
it.
that.
You know,
I
it's,
see that.
Jenny, you're attacking me, because if I was really angry, I would say that. You're attacking me.
That reminds me of.
No, I'm kidding. 100. I know, I get it. No, but that's the cliche. That's like, I don't know. I grew up super toxic masculinity, so I can identify with both sides. That's the abusive. They're pretending to be chivalrous, so they're saying, "Oh, let's go outside," as to opposed to punching the person right then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to have tables and chairs are about to run.
For me, as someone who is habitually gorgeous and just shiny when I go out in public, for me, it's when a dude walks up and tries to start awkward conversation for no reason, and they're really bad at it. If you're gonna hit on someone, at least come with a prepared line that will start a conversation and not end in awkward silence. Just friendly advice. That's all I'm saying, and that's across the board.
Just like think through your hit up line. Not words. Think through your lines before you use them. Fuck.
Okay, now see,
I'm almost invisible. I'm so bright.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, you're kind of badly
can't help
overexposed there.
I can't help it. Like, essentially, I'm too pale, and it's daylight out.
I can see your eyes though.
Yeah. See, I am currently just sat here deck building.
Awesome.
I'm working on stuff, but I figured I'd pop in for a bit anyway. So don't mind me being kind of a glow pyre instead of a sparkle pyre.
It's
Hi, Kitty.
awesome. That's awesome,
just
Kitty.
Just put it this way, Kitty. When you jumped in, I had to look closely to see who it was at first. So I was like,
Oh, hold on. I can fix it. Watch. I can fix it. There you go. I can see you now.
There we go. That worked.
The one benefit is I don't have to bother with makeup since, you can't see my face.
You know what though? Even I had to move my light because it's not as shiny today as comparison to you.
Like I have no light other than the window that's behind my desk. This is what happens in daylight.
That's crazy.
So I'm pale.
Kitty is ascending to a higher plane. Do not judge.
That's right. That's
Hey,
right.
you will know when I've reached full ascension because all the mosquitoes will disappear.
Please.
That's right. Oh, Kitty's glowing. That's right.
Hey, Kitty, I keep telling people you shouldn't let daylight into your house. It's dangerous.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting radioactive. Like,
That would be awesome too. Do you get special powers like Spider-Man?
Maybe you have a couple vampires in your ancestry.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. They did come from Central Europe.
Nerdy's got it.
Oh, we're back to Dragon Ball Z. I've said that so
That's
many times.
great. I've been binge watching Naruto because, like, it's one of those shows that you don't have to have your eyeballs glued to the screen the entire time. So like I can have it on one monitor while I'm working on stuff on the computer, or while I'm sewing, I can have it on my phone. So I watched the entirety of the original Naruto series, and now I am halfway through with Shippuden. I've been binging the shit out of that show, and I honestly didn't think I was gonna like it. I was like, yeah, all right, it's something to watch, whatever, because my friend had been bugging me to watch it. Dude, like I can count on one hand the number of times something has given me like misty-eyed feels, and one scene in that show did it. So, I mean, it's a lot deeper than I thought it was gonna be.
Isn't Naruto the one where the dude runs with his arms behind him and
Yeah, the ninja run with their arms behind them like that.
that's pretty weird shit.
I'm binge watching Stargate SG-1 right now because I live in the past, and one day I will leave 1995, but it will not be today.
Well, the thing about Naruto that I really like is the fact that it deals a lot with prejudice and overcoming, other people's expectations on you, where they expect you're going to do this or that, and pushing yourself to be the best you can and not letting what other people think of you, drag you down into a pit, so to speak. And honestly, there's also like part of it has like some like biblical connotations in like going way back. You had the sage of six paths, and he had two sons, one who inherited his eyes, the Renegon, and one who inherited his love, his compassion. And the elder brother was the one with the powerful eyes, and he had the power. The younger brother had the compassion. The younger brother was chosen as the successor to the great sage, and it basically triggered a bunch of bad shit happening because the older brother, who felt slighted and like power was the way, ended up like starting a war with the descendants of his younger brother, and like they clashed on through the generations. So it's kind of a Cain and Abel kind of thing, slightly. I mean, obviously not the exact same, but
sounds interesting.
There's a lot there. I mean, it's a lot of time investment because there's like 200 episodes in the original show, which deals with them when they're kids, and then Shippuden deals with them when they're like teenagers. And Shippuden has 500 episodes. But if you skip past like the intro, like the opening song, and you don't watch the closing song, there's only about 15 minutes per episode of actual show. So, I mean, it goes by pretty quick.
That's cool. I'm constantly doing projects, so I need something on in the background.
It's great for background because, like, if it's something really cool happens, you can back it up a little bit and be like, okay, what did I miss? But while you're working, you can kind of keep one eye on it while you're doing other stuff, and
Heck
it's
yeah.
perfect for that because that's why I've been binging it.
I even have speakers for when I have my sewing machine on. I plug in whatever I'm watching, so the speakers are louder than my sewing machine. It's a show.
I feel you.
It's a show.
I feel you. I wear headphones for that reason. I just crank up the volume in my AirPods and just listen to it that way.
Don't you need to hear the machine running?
No.
Doesn't that
I go by
going on?
I go by feeling. Especially it depends on what I'm doing. Seems like I'll pay attention, but everything else, like I'm like Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, just surfing through it.
Honestly, I usually only ever have one earbud in at a time anyway, in case my son needs me, so I can still hear the machine, but I can also hear what I'm listening to.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine myself fixing cars and using machines and not hearing the machine input from the machine.
It's one of those things, like visual, like you can see if it skips a stitch, or you can feel if it's not like wanting to get through that material for whatever reason. Maybe you've got the wrong needle, or it's just a little too thick for it to like it. Like you'll be able to feel it without actually, by tactile and visual. You don't absolutely have to hear it. It's not like a car where, I mean, I guess it's kind of like driving a stick shift, driving a manual transmission car. Like at first you're like, okay, you're looking at it and you're looking at the RPMs, and it's when it gets to a certain RPM, that's when you shift. At least that's what I did when I first learned. And then eventually it gets to the point where you just hear it and feel it, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I need to upshift, I need to downshift.
Hey, look at the freeway. There's some guy coming at us with his headlights on. That's
out of towner.
Here.
Total out of towner.
Well, in some of the newer vehicles, aren't the headlights just always on anytime the motor's running?
Yeah.
Day running lights are a thing. I have them on my Flex, but weirdly enough, they turn on by themselves, but I have an option to turn them off. Which I
know
don't.
With every motorcycle I've owned, the dips beam is permanently on. You basically, you can switch it to full beam, like if it's dark, if you need it, or dip beam, but that light is on as soon as you turn the engine on. That light comes on.
There's a couple wires that you could switch to stop. I could help you out with that problem.
I wouldn't want it, to be honest. Anything
especially on a motorcycle, I think it's a good idea.
In America, we're idiots, so we don't wear helmets unless we're told to on motorbikes, and it's a thing that people do is they would dim the light or turn it off completely, or just have it on a switch like for a car.
I've done a silly thing where I've gone out on a motorcycle before and then realised I forgot to put my crash helmet on, and then very quickly gone back and grabbed it. Because let's be honest, you are not going to get very far without riding a motorcycle without a lid on in the UK before you get pulled over.
So I would like to see them change the helmet laws to say that if you don't have if you have kids, you don't have to wear a helmet because it's too late. You've already bred.
My pops would always try to scare me because that was the one thing we argue about. He hated the fact that I had a motorcycle, and you know what? He was right. But he used to always tell me, win, lose, or draw, you lose in an accident. And that's what...
you're vulnerable on a motorcycle.
Oh, just spot on.
You know what they call motorcycle accidents in the ER?
Organ donors.
Homicide.
So true, though. I was driving to work one day, and I don't know what this kid was thinking. He was on a crotch rocket, and he didn't hit his brakes or something, but he hit the back of a truck and he died on a left-hand turn. I don't know if he wasn't paying attention. I don't know what happened, but things like that, I feel like we should. I'm a motorcycle enthusiast, and I don't even ride anymore.
So this is the I guarantee you, you speak to anyone who's been a motorcyclist any sort of length of time and have been around the sort of motorcycling community, you guarantee that at least. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't know at least someone who's been killed in a motorcycle accident.
Exactly. I knew someone that fell off a canyon around here, and I'm laughing because this person was indestructible, but they fell off of a canyon, fell 600 feet, and lived to tell the story, and then got back on the same motorcycle because they were kind of dumb.
I know a guy who lost it. I know a guy who lost the bottom half of his left leg in a motorcycle accident. Had a prosthetic put on, and managed to start riding a motorcycle again, and rode even more of a lunatic than he did before he had his amputation. I was like, at that point, there's no helping you.
So there's two trains of thought to that. Like there's the person such as myself who changes their life, and then there's this. In America, we had this dirt bike rider who we used to call the vampire. He did a stunt and he lost 70% of the blood in his body. he got in a really bad accident on his dirt bike. He was a professional dirt bike rider.
Yeah.
He only lives through blood transfusions, and he went right back to doing the same stunts. I think he's crazy. He's called the vampire because he lives off of other people's blood.
What, he's a hemophiliac?
No, he has to get blood transfers every other day.
I mean, obviously,
you can look him up.
we had the famous like stunt performer in the 90s, a British guy called Eddie Kidd. I mean, and he was sort of like becoming. I mean, he was sort of like the new Evil Knievel in the 90s. But then he had an accident and ended up paralyzed.
He wasn't like super Dave. We had a wannabe Evil Knievel.
Eddie Kidd broke some of Evil Knievel's records, So I mean, he was really getting,
Super Dave's a raving lunatic.
Hey Jenny.
Hello. That was bad. I had a lot of phlegm in my throat. Hello. Hold on. I have to rename myself.
Your mic is crackling
a bit.
Yeah, you're being kind of crackly there.
Let me fix that.
Super Dave was like he was a satire of Evil Knievel.
Yeah.
But he was a complete ass. I met him in person because I used to film the show out here, and I don't even think he rode bikes. I think he just rode it around for TV.
He's probably it's probably a very good satire of Evil Knievel then, because everything I saw of Evil Knievel, the bloke was a bit of a dick.
Those old school guys were.
He tried to be funny, but he wasn't
at all.
He's one of those guys,
Oh yeah.
Even with a writer, you're not funny.
Is bad. My mic better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
that's better. That's much better.
You know what's sad though? I miss those old school Leslie Nielsen like bad slapstick movies. Where it's just
funny though.
For their era, yeah.
Funny.
Naked Gun, Airplane, even like what was the one with the strings? I can't remember now. Team Force America, is that what it was called?
Team America.
That was
gosh.
That's the South Park guys, wasn't it? Who wrote that?
Hilarious.
I
love satire, just dumb satire like that.
America.
I just want to tell you all good luck. We're all counting on you.
See,
Jenny, the Zucker brothers who wrote the Airplane movies and Kentucky Fried Movie.
Mm-hmm.
They grew up in my neighborhood.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they went to a different school than I did, but because they were wealthy.
I said this yesterday. I said this to Sam. They used to film. I don't know. I talk so much. I don't even know when I said this, but they used to film the Power Rangers in my neighborhood. And it was the strangest thing to see the Rangers smoking cigarettes in their uniforms and see their doubles. When I was walking home from school, it was the strangest thing. Killed the fourth wall.
Do you guys want to know a fun fact about Airplane? Sure. This is like real deep cut too. So Airplane is basically almost a word for word remake of a like really niche movie that like didn't do well because it was pretty shit, called 0 Hour! ! That's why Airplane has an exclamation point. Wait, does Airplane? I think it does, right? No. But anyways, like obviously there are jokes added to it, but like most of the story is exactly the same. Like there's like trouble on the plane because of some like sickness, right? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Oh, and also, so they wouldn't get sued, they bought the rights to the movie 0 Hour.
Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing stories like that. They're like, just so they don't sue us, I'm gonna buy you. Just so you don't.
Yeah,
sue
and
me.
it was really cheap because the movie like didn't reach a wide audience. It was a pretty shit movie.
My favorite scene in the movie was when Barbara Billingsley, June Cleaver, was talking jive.
You know, if it's a bad movie, if I haven't seen it, because I'm watching Plan 9 from Outer Space right now, an old Ed Wood movie.
Oh, God.
I love bad movies. I'm not joking. I am not.
I would never go see that in public because I was afraid people would figure out that I was trans.
I love all the old Ed Wood movies. That's awesome.
Oh, I
This
like that.
is Kakashi Hatake. He's my favorite character in Naruto. Like, he is best boy. And I made this.
Nice.
Wow, my eyes are really fucking blue.
Yeah, they are.
It's like the
Like,
only thing visible
I see,
about
like,
your
the blue
face.
of my eyes and then white. Well, and
I was gonna say,
where
we
need
can
to
see-
touch in my roots.
We can see your eyes, and then when you open your mouth, we can see your mouth, and that's it.
See, I wasn't kidding. I was not kidding.
Well, I mean,
That's you got a hot light there.
it's the sun.
There's no
Like,
light in that room.
There's no light in this. There's an overhead light that's kind of dim, but like there's a window right back behind.
If you were to point your camera up a little bit and exclude a little of the dark background, dark portion on the bottom, it might adjust better to the light that it sees.
Oh no, you're blending into the background.
Little did we all know
Raise
Kitty
it up a little more,
reflects sunlight like the moon.
Well, I mean, I did, pray to a lot of moon goddesses when I was a pagan. So
Kitty is ascending like Daniel Jackson, just at a different pace.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Isn't this the image you always see when they, describe an angelic visitation?
Or leaving Earth.
I always thought angels looked horrific. Like
What?
well, there is that who's it?
There. See,
Well, no, you said tilt it down. I
I
tilted it
said
up.
raise it up. And
Oh,
you-
whenever you did it,
Whatever you did, it's much better now.
it
Yeah.
completely.
Well,
adjusted.
there's clouds outside now. It's darker outside because
the light meters in a camera are what are known as averaging meters. They take the whole scene and they try to figure out the f-stop based on what the whole thing is. If you had a spot meter and it was doing, say, just the center, you could focus it on your face, and so it would ignore the background brightness or darkness and set the exposure just for the face. But since it's averaging, it gets confused. So if you eliminate the opposite of what there's too much,
it's gonna get brighter again because like there's
It-
clouds
it straightens out.
across the sky.
Well, we would now, Robert.
Well, I mean, I am wearing a sports bra, so red is nice.
Oh, Jeff. Oh, you got stuck right at the moment when you had a cigarette in your mouth. You look like an old Marlboro ad.
Cowboy Killers.
I smoked those forever.
I started with those, yeah. Well, other than the few, what was it, Carlton menthol lights, like the 110s or whatever, like the extra long ones that my mom used to smoke. I'd snag a couple of those from her when I was a little kid, but then when I started smoking in earnest, it was Cowboy Killers like my dad.
Mine was Virginia Slims, and then I went to Cowboy Killers after that. But Camels were cheaper.
I got Pall Malls, but
Yeah.
all the cigarettes are cartons are black in the UK, so they're all black. But you can't, no colours.
Did they put pictures of lungs on them or anything crazy
Yep.
like that?
Yep, I've got smoking clogs arteries, and which is like a grey leg thing with stitches on it.
Ew.
So it's,
I
yeah.
still smoke. So that's
Yeah.
real. That's real. I thought they were just kind of like just talking. So they really do that.
No, that's the thing.
That's crazy.
Here, let me get my pack of
That's like-
cigarettes. We don't have. I don't think we have a pair of lungs on it. I'm too oblivious to know if we do or not.
I quit smoking 3 years ago.
It's like that old Bill Hicks joke, isn't it? About like all the government health warnings or whatever. And he said he picks one up and says, "Mine says smoking when pregnant can harm your baby." Fuck it, found my brand. Don't get the ones that say lung cancer. Yeah.
So sad but true.
Yeah.
I knew an old man that was told to quit drinking and smoking, so he switched to Bud Light and Marlboro Lights. I'm not kidding.
Well, that's why they got rid of the designation. You're not allowed to use light or anything like that anymore, because people think that meant it was a safer cigarette, and it isn't.
There's more chemicals in the lights than there is the regulars.
I smoke lights because I like the chemical high.
I smoke American Spirits.
I smoke Camel Crush light. I love them.
See, I have a couple of packs of cigarettes around my room, but I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Surgeon General's warning: smoking by pregnant women may result in fetal injury, premature birth, and low birth weight. That's the only warning on this thing that I can see.
Ours say, according to the state of California, with the same sentence.
Yeah, like, so.
Mine says smoking causes heart attacks.
Which is all true. It's all true, you know, as I'm smoking a joint. I'm not judging.
Yeah, this is. Oh, I don't know if a light is. Hold on.
And Kitty, the Empress of Hell, is puffing on like a dragon over there.
So this is the only warning that's on it.
Exactly. It's been there. Those have been there forever.
Focus.
Bloody
Focus.
cameras.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I do this?
No, you got it. Surgeon
There you
General.
go.
No, in America, it's always been like that in America. Well, as long as I can remember.
Well,
Surgeon General's
that was
warning:
a
smoking by
new
pregnant
invention.
women. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's the only warning on it. So, like, honestly, I feel like in Florida, we just don't care.
In California, we have warnings on everything. You would laugh. You would laugh
like,
if you.
Like, it's like that thing you said, the Bud Light thing, though. I always remember Lemmy from out of Motorhead, right? He actually is one guy I know that actually switched to vodka from Jack Daniels for health reasons. Because he figured that orange juice was healthier for me than Coke.
It's true. You know, I'm going to say something. And never take any medical advice from me ever. Godless Sewing Industry says do not take any medical advice from me.
Yeah, this is not medical advice.
But like
do not take medical advice from anyone on this stream.
I have a theory that I'm gonna die from something I ate, drank, or smoked. So I'm gonna enjoy doing it. You know, and with medical science,
Yep.
I witnessed a man that had emphysema live 5 more years than he should have because of medical science.
Well,
and he died at 80. So
Minnesota only has weed for medical use, not for recreational. But yeah, Sloth Girl was just reading yesterday, and apparently both of us would qualify for it. I should be able to get a card from my doctor.
That'd be awesome.
Where do you get the
We don't even have medical weed, so I mean, well, they've sort of somewhat eased up, given in a little bit on the CBD thing hitting the UK now, because there was a couple of court cases over it. But you know, the thing is, this is the joke that for ages, you know, we couldn't even talk about getting, you know, marijuana for like medical purposes, yet the UK is the biggest exporter of medical marijuana in the world. It's like, hold up. So it's like, hold on, either this has got medical use or it hasn't. So to me, it's like, if it's got medical use, then allow British people to use it that way. If you're saying it doesn't, you might want to stop being the world's biggest drug dealer
and arms dealer as well.
Oh
and
yeah,
you guys,
we're back at number one again.
Well, what happened is
bloody hypocrites.
Biden, well, it was kind of a snow job because Biden, he was saving face by cutting out our contracts with the Saudis. But what most people don't know is that the UK had 16% of that contract. So they went from 16% to 75% of that same contract. So they're making billions and billions of dollars more now. So all we did was pull out so that the UK can make billions of dollars off of arms.
Which makes, I guess, no skin off your nose, but
this is an old book now. It's probably a lot of it's out of date, but this book by is a comedian / journalist called Mark Thomas. This book called As Used on the Famous Nelson Mandela, Underground Adventures in the Arms and Torture Trade. But it's got now, admittedly, this is going back about 12 years ago because it was under most of what he's written here is under the last Labour government. But it is pretty damn sickening. Just diving in and reading this, Britain's role in the international arms trade.
So that's older than my memory stretches, then, Jeff.
Yeah.
I have a book on how of what happened before the Iranian Revolution. It'll open your eyes on how America creates their own problems.
Don't even get me started on that. Like,
I need the crap in Central America too.
Oh, don't even get me started on that either.
We are the supervillain of the world.
Yes.
Full stop.
Now, to be fair, the U.S. doesn't create all of its own problems. Iraq was created by Britain. We just took it over.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
I was about to say, either you create your own problems or you steal problems from other people.
Yeah, basically, the long and short of Iraq is it was 3 separate countries who all hated each other, and Britain moved in and said, no, you're all one country now, deal with it, and left.
Well, the joke of this is because whenever he brings up the big defense of it would be because the big defense of it would be that that it was a good industry for the country, it brought in a lot of money, blah blah. There was that defense kind of thing, and we actually looked. Some of the figures in this were quite interesting because it actually showed how much the taxpayer in Britain subsidizes the arms industry, and just what a shit deal we actually get on that. Let's discount the fact that it's the arms industry for a second. It's like conservative newspapers, if any other industry in Britain was subsidised the way the arms industry is for as little return, the conservative newspapers would be having a fucking hissy fit about it. If we were subsidising, the car industry or something like that, the way
then it'd be the damn socialists.
Yeah, but most people don't. All of this information is hiding in plain sight. I looked it up, and it took me 3 seconds, but the average person isn't going to do that, And then when you tell someone like, "Hey, your country is now one of the biggest arms dealers in the Middle East," they're like, "Oh no, nuh-uh," because they don't see it,
Yeah. This is a really good book because everything every claim he makes in there, he's a citation for like everything. He was really good what he did. Yeah, I've got a few of his books up here because he did one on like Coca-Cola as well, and there was a thing of like he actually went to gave report to members of Parliament on some of the shit Coca-Cola were doing, like in, say, Colombia, like with they've been actively involved in like murder of trade unionists out there.
I need more coffee for this.
Yeah, and when he when it was funny. He said when he went there, he said there was some rep from Coca-Cola who was actually asked him, "Why are you picking on us?" And he's like, "Why am I picking on a multi-billion, multinational company that is engaged in exploitation of workers, murder of trade unionists, all this?" I says, "I guess I'm just a bully," is his response to that. I thought it was brilliant. I've killed the conversation with that.
Oh no. Sorry, I'm just focused.
Sorry. I was gonna say I am distracted trying to build a deck. Because I got bored this morning and said, "Fuck it, I'm building a blue-green Magic the Gathering deck."
You're not building shit. We haven't heard one skill saw. We haven't heard one hammer. We haven't heard one. God damn it! When you hit your hand.
That's where I was going.
I didn't hear an electro welder powering up. I didn't hear.
So I just saw Sloth Girl put in the chat about Trump said to boycott Coca-Cola, then got caught drinking a Coke. Because what was the other famous one he did when he called on people to boycott Apple on Twitter, and then underneath it said like tweeted from iPhone.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe Trump didn't realize that boycotting Coca-Cola meant Diet Coke as well.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola owns a lot of different sodas too, so like, and I think don't they have? I know there's Coke Energy, but don't they have another energy drink?
Probably, I don't know which one's who.
They're Dasani water.
Yeah, they're Dasani.
Yeah, I don't like.
Why can you buy soda cheaper than water?
It's because of like
capitalism.
I really wish Swede was here because he could explain it better. But like,
Dasani is no longer sold in the UK, and the reason being is it was kind of marketed as natural spring water, and then when we found out that it was just tap water that had been put through the filter, everyone's like, well, what should we pay?
You know it's why spring water is spring water, don't you? Because it's filtered by the ground, which is
okay.
The same filters they use in a plant is earth-based filters.
I'll say it here. Look, I've got a bottle and I do have a bottle here, Evian. Okay, and I feel a bit of a sucker for buying it because I realise that Evian backwards says naive.
Yep.
It says you're drinking your own local water that they bottled and sold back to you.
Well, yeah, I don't think in the UK that they've gotten away with it because I know that happens I know Nestle have been doing it across the world, Coca-Cola, but I don't know in the UK. It was kind of frowned on that if you're going to sell like bottled water, it kind of has to be spring water kind of thing.
Nestle started a drought in California to the point where we had to conserve water. You know what? That's a bad route.
We don't have that problem here.
Camilla Harris let Nestle walk right in and steal our water.
So y'all know how like different water brands taste different, and some of them taste bad and some of them taste good.
Mm-hmm.
I found that the Publix brand spring water is pretty good, even though it's a grocery store brand. And for context, Publix is just a chain grocery store. So just imagine your local chain grocery store's like brand water.
I grew up on house brand. I am not a snob in that way in any way, shape, or form.
I buy my water by the gallon from Dollar General because it's $1.
I prefer buying water by the gallon, but my parents don't do that.
Yeah, I won't buy any kind of bottled water. I've got a Brita tank in the kitchen just because we've got rather high mineral content.
I tried to.
The funny thing in the UK about like when the Sani story we broken about the fact it was just tap water that Coca-Cola were bottling is there's a very famous British sitcom. I'm sure Sam's aware of this called Only Fools and Horses.
Oh, Only Fools and Horses.
I've seen it.
And well, there's a quite famous episode in that where the main character comes up with his latest scam is literally was when he discovered the bottled water craze was to just start filling it up from the tap and selling it to the public for like 50p a pop or something, and he ended up causing a drought in the London borough of Peckham in the middle of winter.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, mostly I use the filter pitcher because we've got such a high calcium content that it was clogging up my teapot.
Oh, wow. Jeff, you just reminded me of I knew two people that went to jail because they tried to open up their own like ghetto gas station. So I knew someone that owned a gas station and they would hook up their friends with lower prices. And so these other people would fill up large barrels and they set up like this ghetto gas station and they went to jail because of it. They got arrested and everything. They had their own pumps and everything.
Well, you do that, you're breaking a whole fucking
and it was
regulations and you can't be letting that happen.
It was in Northern California. It was a big deal. If you Google it, you'll see these idiots on TV. It was a big deal. It was a big deal. And they went to jail. They're probably still in jail because of it.
Well, that's like what they're doing in, I think, what it is it Nigeria? They tap into these massive, 5-8 foot in diameter pipelines that are pumping fucking refined gasoline. and they're tapping into it with garden hoses and shit.
Yeah, but Nigeria has all kinds of. Nigeria is off the chain right now. They have war in the north.
I can almost laugh and think fair play to someone who's ripping off big petrochemical companies and selling it on. When it's actually taking the public's water and and selling it back to us, then it's perhaps I have a little bit of an issue.
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with that because they're putting value on it. That the filtration, the bottling, the transport, all that costs money to do. And if it's serving me in a convenient fashion, and I buy it as a product. They have a right to make money off that.
But Jenny, I agree with you, but we're capitalists. Not everybody are capitalists. Like I believe in capitalism because I make money off of it. If it so it's one of those double-edged swords. I'm
a socialist, and I don't like the idea of them making money off of a natural resource that should be everybody. But as long as we live in this system, they have a right to do what they're doing. It's like people who are in small business and they bitch about having to pay a bank for processing credit cards. Well, that takes time and money for them to do that. Why shouldn't they be able to charge you for it?
I agree with you 100%. I think everybody should get paid. That's my thing, is everybody should get paid along the chain.
Agreed. I know what you're saying. Yes.
See, but that's capitalism.
I think that we should just work on having drinkable tap water for everyone, so they don't need to buy bottled water.
Yeah. I mean, I just sort of drink out of the tap regularly. So
when I was a kid, it was nothing to drink out of the hose. Sorry, Jenny.
I don't like to drink out of a tap because in Florida we have like a lot of lime scale in our tap water.
Yeah.
And like drinking it, you can like it feels heavy. The water feels heavy. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. Well, no, that's
no.
we've got the mineral content here too. That's why I use the Brita filter. And actually, I don't even use an actual Brita filter. I buy generic ones.
All water has minerals in it. Whether you buy it in a store or get it from spring, it's just the nature of water to take on particles from the rock strata that it goes through, or the sediment that it goes through, like sand or dirt, as it comes up from the ground. It's unavoidable. The processors who are distilling tap water and stuff like that, or I shouldn't say distilling, but hyperfiltering and ultraviolet treating water, are adding minerals to it, because if that water without those minerals, you will taste and you'll go, I don't like this. But if they put in just the right elements in the right quantities, you will love it. It's amazing.
But like Soft Girl says, this is what bothers me, is the environmental impact of the bottled water. I mean, just the plastic water bottles alone are really one of the greatest environmental hazards we're dealing with now.
Well, see, like, I mean, I've got this one, but I mean, what's in here at the moment is tap water, because I keep refilling this up, like, it's sort of something to have just so I put some water in the room. But then,
when I was a kid, my mom would do that.
Even if you do that, you have to throw a plastic bottle out every so often.
I think they should replace all drink containers with steel cans. That way I can smelt them down into ingots, and I will never have to buy scrap metal again.
They used to do that.
Well, soup cans and stuff are made of steel.
Well, what Jeff was saying, that eventually you do have to throw the plastic bottles out, but there's a huge difference between throwing the bottle out after one use and throwing it out after 10 uses.
I save my bottles and I reuse them. They last about a year.
I was about to say, mine lasts forever. I still have Taco Bell cups from the 90s. I can recycle everything.
I mean, there's some exciting news about plastics. So there's a team researching, I think it's a bacteria that eats plastics.
I heard about that.
And decomposes them. So I think that's exciting, because plastics don't actually decompose or degrade. They just become smaller and smaller pieces.
Yeah, but that's going to cause a whole new problem they're not ready for.
Yeah, the plastic monster 300 years from now.
No, because if you've got something that starts breaking apart plastics, what about all the things that are made of plastic because we want them to last for 10 or 20 years?
That's what I'm saying, the plastic monster.
I'm talking about boats at sea coming apart because the plastic seals are being eaten.
Yes, I agree.
So then they're going to have to come up with another material to replace the plastic, and we're going to have the same problem. It's just going to be rinse and repeat.
I think that they're going to have to basically keep those bacteria in like a super sterile lab setting.
Well, like, here's what I think. I think, like, there should be specific landfills where they're enclosed environments, where the bacteria is. And
because every time we've introduced a non-native life form, we've always been able to keep it well contained.
Or any
that's
problem,
always worked before.
Or any problem that we've ever started ever.
Humans are great at fixing our own problems. We've never fucked anything up ever.
No.
Here's the thing: there's different types of plastics too, and like I don't remember like what type of plastic specifically this bacteria can eat, but like we could make a plastic that's resistant to the bacteria. It's not that like.
Okay, but I agree with you. But like, human beings are over ambitious, so we're back to the giant plastic kaiju just eating everything.
Like,
I don't know where
honestly,
you're getting this.
life
This is
finds
more
a
far
way.
fetched than my robot dreams.
Damn it! You said the
I'm-
word. I was trying not to say the word, Jenny. I was trying not to say it.
I'm Ian Malcolming this shit. You know, life finds a way.
Absolutely. And you said, I want you to remember, you brought up robots. I've been watching Stargate, so I'm ready for the robots. I'm here for robots. So if I had like a full robot me, that would be cool. Because then I would like whore him out. I'd be like, here, get in this spaceship and go over there. Go discover another planet or something, you know?
See, I feel like what we need is bacteria that eat metal that we can then keep in a plastic container until the aliens invade, then just fire that at their spaceship.
What? How about if we just get rid of all plastic? Wouldn't that be great?
Well, it's kind of impossible because we have covered the planet in plastic.
Well,
Yeah.
and the problem
Now,
people don't get.
The other reason why you can't is because you have to do something with the waste from refining oil, which is what
Thank
plastic
you.
comes from.
We should
Thank
get rid-
you. You're the only other person I have heard even mention that. That if
And
we stop
even-
using plastics, but we keep using gasoline, we're going to have tons and tons of toxic sludge that they're just going to dump into the environment anyway.
Yeah.
Can I say
And if
something?
you-
Plastic is a
if-
byproduct. We have to reduce our use of of fossil fuels. Otherwise, reducing use of plastic doesn't accomplish anything.
Then can I say
So
something really
the-
controversial? Let's get rid of oil.
Now, see, here's the thing. I largely agree with you, but we, for example, there was a big thing about Biden wanting to completely get rid of fracking. Now, that isn't a thing he can do purely and simply because in the medical field, plastics are still necessary and bioplastics don't work.
Many things in the medical field that are plastic could go back to using glass. Glass is very, very inconvenient in a lot of places that they have plastic now. But
Oh,
it is
sure, a
still-
lot of them,
it's still superior
but
product for reuse.
a lot of them, but not completely. Hence why I'm saying you can't completely get rid of it.
I wouldn't want to see them to go back to glass for IV bottles. Good Lord.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
that's-
things like
yeah, I mean,
Irish sweethearts.
I mean, ultimately, yes, long term, we need to move as far away from fossil fuels as possible.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about that.
How much space do 350 million syringes take up?
Quite a bit.
I don't know. Would have to calculate
You know,
that out. But
you know, it's really funny, Jenny. My son asks me these questions all the time. He's like, "How many? If I got 10 million chairs and put them somewhere, how high would it be?" Like he asks me these questions all the time.
I've got about 10 empty syringes in a sharps bin in my house right now. So
I had a friend whose kid always asked questions like that about numbers and totals and stuff like that, and he ended up being an actuarial.
well, you know, if everyone in China stood on each other's shoulders, the guy on the bottom would get crushed.
it's a bit like the old. That's a bit like the old. How many communion wafers do you have to eat to consume a full Jesus? You know, it's kind of like.
So back to fossil fuels. I would love to never drive again. To never have to get in a car ever again. And like I always say, I own 3 vehicles, and I would love to not have to ever drive again.
Hey, Will, guess what? You wouldn't need to drive if you were
A robot? That would be awesome.
robot.
I would like my legs would turn into wheels. That would be awesome.
Or you
No,
could just,
you
you could just move to New York where people walk for everything.
you would be able to transport yourself anywhere without getting exhausted, so you could just walk.
To be fair, in New York, people walk for everything because it's faster than driving.
That's like in London where everyone catches the tube because trying to drive in fucking London.
And to be honest, I'd sooner walk around London than get on the tube if possible.
I'm waiting.
You know,
I hate the London
LA
Underground.
LA's metro is like that. Like, depending on what neighborhood you're in, different things happen to you.
I'll tell you that, London, as bad as London Underground is, yeah, the Paris metro, I'd say you're just paranoid as fuck. And if you go down there,
South Girl brought up
you guarantee somebody is going to try and pick your pocket anywhere you go on the Paris metro.
Oh, that's LA, wallet and front pocket. South Girl brought up a good point. One of the reasons I don't like driving is because I'm constantly stuck in traffic. Stuck in traffic.
That's why you should move here, because I've told you before, our traffic jam downtown at go home time is about 4 minutes.
I'm terrified of driving, so I'm waiting for self-driving cars, but I don't know how they'll be able to program like predicting Florida traffic.
You're not the only person I know that's I knew a woman who was scared to drive on the freeway, and she planned her whole life on every side road in Los Angeles because she never drove on the freeway.
No, so like Tampa's traffic is insane. I have driven before. I'm a pretty good defensive driver because I've never crashed. And there are several times where I almost did because someone nearly one time someone merged into the lane right in front of me and almost dinged me by like an inch. They were an inch away from my front end. And like immediately after that, I pull into the lane to get off to where my exit is, because I was on the highway, and this guy is swerving in and out of the emergency lane, and I'm like, fucking hell, what is going on? So I speed around him on the emergency lane because I'm like, fuck this, I don't want to crash. And that was the last time I drove, so not great. This is why I'm afraid of driving. I also, like, my dad drives like a maniac, and that's partially why, but
I'd love to take you for a ride on a racetrack.
I grew up with the Speedway, and so I love racetracks. That would be awesome.
If I could drive like a Mad Max vehicle with a bunch of spikes everywhere and like reinforced armor, then I'd be comfortable, because if someone hit me, they would be dead.
So that's the nice thing about being on a racetrack is everybody else on there is as serious and careful about it as you are. And most of the time incidents never happen.
Except for if you get near Tony Stewart. Don't get near Tony Stewart.
I'm not talking NASCAR.
I will always remember when I had some young nipper, some young lad. Let's just say that got into motorcycling when I was riding, and he was only riding like a little 125 thing, and he had this big thing about getting his knee down, going around the corner kind of thing, and and he was gobbing off to me one day, saying like, you ride a 750cc and I ride a 125. But he says, I bet you I can pick any racetrack in the country on a track day, and I'll beat you in a race on my little bike. And then I turned, because I was like, don't be silly. But then I said, okay. I just joked with us. I said, what? I said, Santa Pod. He says, yeah, cool, let's do this. What's that? What's Santa Pod? So I said, it's a fucking drag strip. And he's like, oh shit, because his whole argument was based on the fact that he could really go around the corners really fast. And I'm kind of like, yeah. So,
you know what? It's always the young, mouthy ones.
Yep.
I used to be one.
I'll say this about him. Though he was a classic example of what we were talking about earlier. Of he, unfortunately, thankfully he recovered, but he was one of those kids that I kept warning him for ages and ages. You need to calm down on riding, because you're going to have a bad accident one day. He did it not long after he got his full test, and he got this 600cc like sports bike. In 2 weeks he had like not only written the bike off, but like had a number of broken bones and whatever. And yeah, that was to his credit, that was that he realized he got off lucky and was like, yeah, you were kind of Jeff, you were kind of telling me I needed to calm down. You were right, and I found out the hard way. So
same thing happened to me. I thought I was indestructible, and then I got in a motorcycle accident, and I was like, you see, I'm indestructible. And then I got in a car accident, and I was like, oh, I'm human. I am a human being.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that I haven't ridden a motorcycle like a complete dick in the past, because of course I have. I caught myself at doing 110 in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. So,
would you let a artificial intelligence direct and drive your motorcycle for you?
No. I can't trust you. Can't. No, I wouldn't.
Have you seen the footage of the crash?
An artificial intelligence cannot, however good it is, predict some of the dickhead car drivers on the road.
Have you seen the footage from Arizona when the woman had the self-driving car? Go look at the look on her face right before she crashed. She had no control whatsoever. She could do nothing but scream. No, I'm good.
I think that
go ahead, Carol.
I think that AI motorbikes are only going to become viable once all cars are AI, and then you don't have to worry about cars doing unpredictable shit.
And what I was going to say is an AI bike isn't autonomous. An AI bike is communicating with the vehicles around it to basically telling them to stay away from me because I'm just a bike.
iRobot. I've seen that movie. Will Smith puts gas in his ninja at the end of the movie and saves the world. I've seen that movie, and it's a great book too.
The thing with no matter how good they become, the thing with any computers or whatever it is always dealing with an ideal world situation, and that when there's a human element put into it in any way, shape, or form, that can ruin it.
Can you guys see the eagle in the clouds?
No, I can't.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Small for you. I wish one would come close so you get to see it. Of course, that might be a buzzard.
I don't.
Pretty good.
Right. I'll send you the picture sometime, Jenny. I've got a lovely picture of me holding a golden eagle.
Oh yeah, you showed me those.
Yeah.
I have a lovely picture of me eating one. Well, it was a bald eagle.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, it was after the spotted owl burger.
I went to Falconry Place about 3 or 4 years ago. It's actually because I always had a childhood thing about like birds of prey, and it was my mum got me as a birthday present as a day, flying all these different birds of prey, and so I did everything from a kestrel up to a golden eagle, so and a few things in between. So, but it's 7:20 my time, so subtract 6. What's that about? 1:20 your time, Jenny?
Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 11:19 a.m. Have a good morning, William.
Alexa, thank you.
Anytime.
It is 11 something, and I knew that because I'm looking at the clock. But
you're 8 hours behind me, aren't you?
What's that, Jenny?
But I was too lazy to interpret what my eyes were showing me.
I love seeing your reaction to me and the A word, and I can't say her name because she appears every time I say her name.
Alexa, would you please fart?
I fell for that one time. I fell for that. She farted for like 20 minutes. I couldn't even turn it off. I fell for that one time.
I wonder what she would ask her to vomit.
But now someone asked me to install Alexa in their office, and I'm going to, and I'm literally going to say, oh, see, I said the word. I'm going to say a word, play farting noises, and I'm just going to walk out of the room and watch them scramble trying to turn it off. I actually can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's great. At some point, I'm probably going to have to disappear off for about half an hour to make arrangements to actually have the second episode of Pub Religion ready to go later.
Yeah, I'm going to have to just go because I am going to piss my pants if I don't get somewhere pretty soon.
I was a little annoyed the other day, Sam, that the fact that I got the notification for that like 3 days late. It really annoyed me.
Oof.
That's just YouTube being weird at the moment. But...
Absolutely.
YouTube's been weird for a little while now.
Do you know, it unsubscribed me to a couple people. And then I'm like, how come their stuff's not, I'm not seeing their stuff. And it's because I was unsubscribed to them. And I unsubscribed to no one. So YouTube's been playing. No,
I mean, it's been one or two people I've unsubscribed from recently, but not purposely, but
Hey, could I ask
I
you
won't
guys,
get into that.
the guys in the chat and out there and the panel here, how do you feel about me doing this scenic view during the show? Does it matter? Does it mean anything? Is it interesting at all? Should I stop doing it?
No, it's nice to have something to look at there.
Nice, Jenny. Well, occasionally though, no, it's not Jenny. This is my opinion because I've seen a couple of times now when you've been in some lovely locations, and then, like you said, there's been the footage of the eagles. Whatever. It's cool. It really is cool.
Okay, well, next week
It's better than the rest of us sat in our rooms or in front of our computers, kind of thing. It's different.
Well, I want to give the gift of this gimmick only to Purple. Next week, if you look across to the bluff, and on the right side, you'll see that there's some close-up trees that kind of start to block the background. It's a little further than that, so you can't actually see it. Is a place that's called Granddad's Bluff, and it's this picturesque thing, set up with, a walking area and a railing and all this kind of junk. But it's very, very popular. I'm going to try to get up there and see if we get a proper phone signal, and can do a broadcast from there, because then you get to see the whole city of La Crosse, not just the fringes like we see now. And so each week I'll try to find a different scenic area to.
Irish Sweet is recommending French Island. I don't know where that is.
What part of French Island? Because we're looking at that right now.
Why is Irish Swede not in here?
Well, he can take my place. I'm leaving. And another thing here, all this time we've been looking at the La Crosse airport and not a single plane has taken off or landed. So
do you know at LAX they're taking off like every 10 minutes, 24 hours a day, or something insane? Something insane like that.
Well,
that's crazy.
La Crosse Airport only handles the smaller planes, so they're afraid of the eagle up there.
Geese.
Do you know there's a small airport by the dispensary I go to, and it's not rare to see a Cessna or like a refurbished World War II plane.
Okay, pick me off. Oh, that's good. I'm going to take off, people. It was lovely.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks for coming and giving us some good scenery.
Okay, groovy. Bye-bye, kitty dear.
Be safe and be well.
Thank you. You too.
Otherwise, they'll ground you.
Right. Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. Drive home safe.
Bye-bye.
She's been good. She's gotten her shots. She gets a lollipop.
Do you know how I drive home safe? I don't listen to Slayer or like any kind of speed metal
That
or
is
death
a,
metal.
that is a good. That is a good. Slayer and driving is not a good mix.
And something happens, especially in my truck, like, and people will pull up next to me at the light, and I just look at them like, "What do you want?"
Well, you know, and this is something I've been questioning for a long time, is how much of the road rage that we get during the evening rush hour is because of the shock jocks on the radio revving everybody up while they're stuck in traffic.
Oh, that's real too. Especially like, I'm a geek, so I listen to a lot of talk radio. There is a station in Los Angeles that has shocker Dennis Prager and Ben Shapiro on it. Yeah. Listen, if
That's
you listen,
just designed to give someone brain rot.
Yeah.
That grossed me out. Like, I think I threw up a little in my mouth.
And you know, I go on about this all the time, but I'll never get why they live here. But that's a different story for a different day. But what I'm saying is, listen to that for 5 minutes. You would have already like almost hit the person in front of you, almost, you know, backed into the person behind you. It's awful. That is road rage waiting to happen. I'm trying to remember who it was now, but it was someone on YouTube years ago who said, it was an American guy, said that he'd never really gotten political, but he said he started it, but he said he found this little that he said he discovered like conservative radio stations, and he said because he used to have to drive back late at night quite often, he'd have Rush Limbaugh on just to get him mad. That kept him so mad that it kept him awake behind the wheel.
Right, that's actually smart.
To that guy. Yeah,
that's actually. I have a rule now. When I wake up, I do not look at Twitter because there's guaranteed something on there that's gonna piss me off. Especially lately with all the.
Oh, good lord! Yeah, especially a lot of the fucking drama going around at the moment as well. But
yeah, so I had like, even in my own personal life, like I had a little bit of drama, and these people are like obsessively trying to talk about it, and I'm like, okay, have fun. I'm gonna go in my backyard and get a tan, smoke joints all day, and sleep in.
Is that what?
That's my plan.
Well, we won't. Just quick question, and I'll say we won't get into it. But is that what you were talking to me about the other day?
It's branched off from that, but I'm just gonna say this. Like,
yeah, enough said. Yeah,
I have no tolerance for Nazis, transphobes, or my disclaimer. Trans medicalists. There's a whole list now. So if you're under that, and someone's like, "Hey, Will's an asshole," it's because you were probably under that list.
Yeah, I've got my own take on that, but I don't think it's right to get on to that into that on perp stream. So, but yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about. So
no, but here's my thing. Like with YouTube drama, internet drama, do you know what I do? I turn my computer off and I go walk outside and get some fresh air and live my life. Like, you guys, if you're mad at somebody on Twitter and they're not directly paying your bills, like, review your life. Because I'm gonna laugh at you. If you try to start something with me, I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I haven't had time for internet stuff.
That's what I'm saying, Jenny. Like, I'm too old for all that too.
No, not even
a lot of it.
I haven't even had time for the fun stuff, though. I haven't been on a lot of streams recently since school started because I'm like so focused on that.
I think the one thing though is that we're all kind of shouting at the void, saying the same thing on different sides. So I think regardless of where you stand, we should just like make the decision to be peaceful and leave each other alone. That's my whole thing, because you can wolf all day long, but I come from an actual background of having to defend myself, of having to fight for my life for damn near everything I do. So I take life a little bit more serious. And, I grew up pre-internet. So when certain people say things, I'm like, what? But, The world's changed. And yes, Greg Hartwork, what is turning off your computer? I know that's crazy talk, but I do it every once in a while. And Kitty, I finished that. You inspired me to finish that vest.
Nice.
And I put it up yesterday and everything.
Taylor's ham. I've been putting it off, but I need to just fucking buckle down and do it.
That was my thing. I woke up and was like, oh, go ahead. No, I woke up and I was like, you know what? Damn it. Like back in the day, sewing that vest would have taken me 20 minutes. It took me 3 days. And I was like, I just woke up and finished it in 15 minutes.
Nice.
Sometimes it's just like, fuck it, I have the energy today.
Yeah, like when we were doing our thing yesterday, I was like, no, I will finish this. And thank you for the eyeball suggestion. It's a hit, an absolute hit.
Excellent.
How's it going, Swede?
It's going. Just further greasing the wheels of capitalism.
And as a disclaimer, I'm anti-Nazi and we shouldn't even be having that discussion anymore. That's all I'm saying. So if you're arguing with me about that, I'm going to laugh at you as well. Because that goes back to the guides of everybody who hates everything. You know, I just don't have time for people like that anymore.
I'm vehemently Nazi about being anti-Nazi.
Yeah. And if you bring them in the community or near me, I'm going to say something. I speak up for myself. You see how twitchy I am just sitting here?
Wish I hadn't said anything now.
Oh, it's okay. It's, you know what, people, that's another thing.
Yeah, no.
People don't want to take personal responsibility for their actions and what they do. And it's like,
I've got sort of very mixed views on the thing because now, me personally, I am not going to debate anyone who has those kind of views because I feel like it'd be legitimizing it as if there's something to debate and there's not.
That was my whole stance.
Yeah,
that's where all of this started.
I will say I understand at the same time. I understand the reasoning that those ideas are out there and need to be confronted in some way or another. Now, in situation,
I want to paint a picture.
You're talking about. Yeah, I've got my own views on the particular situation we're probably thinking of, but
it branched off though.
It's
morphed into something completely different. It started off as
we'll talk about that off. It's not fair to talk about that on perp stream. I don't think.
No, but it started off as people, as they asked me my opinion, I told them, and then it became a war, you know. And this particular person, you know what? If you hang out with Nazis, I'm going to call you a Nazi. If you hang out near Nazis, I don't care if you're reformed, a former, or what. You're a Nazi. And another thing, as somebody who is a person of color, you can't tell me what racism in my life is. That's where this started. That's where all this started.
I will say this. I cannot agree. I cannot, as a cis-het white guy, tell someone who's in a minority how they should feel. I absolutely can't.
That's where it started. And that's where it started.
Sometimes to me that I guess maybe I'm being too charitable to people at times, but with some of the people we're talking about, I also trying to understand with the positions they've come from to where they are now, and kind of feel they should be kind of encouraged on their journey, even if they fuck up.
Yeah, but don't get in my DMs. Then don't get in my DMs and say black people are this and that. You're a Nazi, and then go on on YouTube and have the Council of Idiots saying, "Oh, we're anti-racist and blah blah blah." But every time you get near a person of color, you get in a fight with them. I'm sorry.
I gotta head off because in 2 hours I have to go to school. So I'm sorry for interrupting the conversation, but
No, it's okay. This is the exact conversation I've been trying to avoid. Sweet, how are you doing?
To be
You're
honest,
beautiful.
I regret. Let's get off of it because I think I regret bringing it up. To be honest, so
no, I have. I'm gonna say I have no sympathy towards not. There's nothing you could tell me, like because I'm telling you, their actions do not. Their words do not match their actions. And this is my whole thing. There is a giant double standard. And until we're ready to address it, I'm not even gonna have the conversation anymore. Because the fact that we even have sympathy for these people shows how much of a society, how much we have dropped the standards. That these people are even allowed in the community, that they're even allowed to speak. That shows how much the standards have dropped in general. We shouldn't even be having this conversation.
But yeah, I'm gonna leave. Can I shout something out?
Yeah, sure, Jenny, go.
So I'm gonna be starting a weekly stream soon. So if you're a mutual with me, DM me on Twitter at Genesis Undead, and I'll add you to my Twitter DM group Answers in Genesis, where I'm going to every Saturday pose a science topic, and the Friday of the next Friday, right, I'm going to have a stream after B's stream, and we're gonna talk about that science topic, right? The goal of it is to talk about the natural world and try to fill in the gaps that God gets put in, or like just talk about how like science is cool. Yeah. Other than that, I hear like a buzzing sound.
Probably Kitty doing some work.
Also, you can find me at Nat One Heroes, where I do Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And we're going to have a Patreon goal pretty soon. If you want to see me DM Dungeon Master, 5-shot, 5-episode campaign, then support us on Patreon. Other than that, you can watch our show where we have a lot of fun. So yeah, that's me. I'm going to head off now. I'm a little like scatterbrained. I'm sorry. I've been inhaling a lot of shielding gas from welding class, and it's really fucking with me. So, always a fun time. Thanks for letting me on your stream.
Okay, now
See you later.
I'm going to open one more, which I'm going to be completely wasted after this one.
So Robert X is in the chat starting fights. We all know that pineapple is gross.
No, there's nothing wrong with pineapple. Pineapple is delicious. Pizza is incredible. But
pineapple's amazing.
Never touch.
Exactly. I agree.
Now, pineapple pizza is amazing.
Will, what I'm hearing, Will, is that we need to get Maddie to moderate it.
I'm sorry.
we need to get Maddie to moderate a debate between you and me one episode.
Absolutely, and I'll get a pineapple pizza delivered from Pizza Loca, which is a local pizza place we have out here. They make them
pineapple chicken teriyaki pizza, pineapple teriyaki chicken. I should say, because I actually use pineapple in my teriyaki marinade, so it's got that tanginess, and it's amazing on pizza.
Pot's legal here, and I still won't eat pineapple on pizza.
I will say to Will and Sam here, don't either of you have a debate against Maddie, because I saw the way she wiped the floor with Nathan Thompson, and that was beautiful.
I told her yesterday.
She was supposed to debate Kent Hovind.
Yeah. Well, I thought that she from what I gathered, she was kind of dragged in at the last minute to do that. James asked for a favour.
I think so, but then she ended up. I think Kent then ended up dropping out on her.
Yeah.
Okay. Nerdy has got this the most wrong, because the essence of what is wrong with pineapple on pizza is pineapple should never touch any tomato-based product.
And when you pick the pineapple off, the juice is still on there. It's marinated into the pizza. Oh.
My favorite pineapple pizza.
I like it.
When I do a Hawaiian pizza, I actually do like a garlic white sauce rather than red sauce on my Hawaiian pizzas.
Okay, then you're not talking about pizza anymore. You're talking about something on a flatbread that's not pizza.
Oh,
they make my local pizza place, Amici's. They make Alfredo pizzas. I went through this kick, but I'm over it. I think I ate too many of them. Just the thought of it makes me want to ralph. But like I said,
the Alfredo flavor.
Exactly, Randy. Exactly.
No. If it doesn't have tomato sauce, it's not actually pizza. You've moved on to something else.
And to answer Theo's question, I've heard of Hawaiian toast before.
Hawaiian pork chops are quite nice.
Hawaiian food is amazing. Just pineapple on pizza is gross. Fight me. That's on the list. That is officially on the list.
You gonna take that outside?
I want to see the grass skirt dancers.
I have more than
Good job, Perp. That's good recall. That is great recall.
That is one debate I am more than happy to host on my channel.
You know, I'm gonna take my camera and go to that pizza place. There's a pizza place in LA. It's called Pizza Loca, and I'm saying it right. Pizza Loca, and they take a whole pineapple, literally a whole pineapple, and put it on top of the pizza.
Oh yeah,
that is far funnier to me than it should be.
Well, in LA, everything has to be in half Spanish because Spanglish and stereotypes.
Also, everything has to be extra.
Oh, super extra here, and we're back to the 90s where everything has to be bright colors again. And as someone who wears black every day, I didn't get that memo. Seems like all the signs, everything.
See, what you can do with that, Will, is say that you've just dyed your hair.
Oh dear, but sneezes are coming back. Hold on, let me mute.
It's, I don't.
I can't really eat too much pizza myself. It's the Crohn's disease. It's coming back. I just found out I might have to get some intestines taken out if my testing goes wrong throughout this rest of this month.
You got that? Oh, Randy, you got that as well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've been diagnosed with Crohn's. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of fun. It sometimes causes me a bit of pain. This is why sometimes I disappear during streams for a little while because I need to move. That's kind of why. Sometimes it causes me some pain when I'm sat down too long.
With me, I mean, I get some pain and everything too, but it's right now, I'm feeling pretty darn good compared to other times in my life. And my doctor says, yeah, that doesn't matter. It's, it's still eating you alive. So you got to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've had operations and stuff before. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the not being able to eat good food afterwards. I'm tired of living on a liquid diet as it is, Maybe 5 out of 7 days of the week right now, I'm living off a broth of noodles or something, very, thin soup with all kinds of veggies in it. And this is what I'm living off of. I can't handle thick pizza or anything really, really rich. And being a diabetic, I can't have anything with sugar in it either. So snacks and chips and everything like that are just out of the question. So it kind of sucks. Everybody talking, about these other foods, and here I am slobbering all over the place.
You're not missing out with the pineapple on pizza.
No, the pineapple and pizza is an easy sacrifice to make.
That is one thing I do miss about being trapped in the house during the pandemic is because I live in LA, there's restaurants from around the world around here. I'm really into Indian food. I'm obsessed with Thai food, Filipino food.
I love Indian food.
Oh, me too. But a lot of places have been closed or flat out going out of business,
Yeah,
Like
my the local place near me, which was pretty good, went out of business because of the pandemic. It was having a little bit of trouble before that, but that was the nail in the coffin.
We
We had because they were good.
There's a Thai business that's been here for 40 years that just went out of business. We're in this weird revitalization where like everybody switched to like Uber Eats, so we're trying to save all these businesses in our towns. It's sad. It's really sad.
I will actually tell you something. One thing I never expected, because I told you I went to Peru in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I did not expect to find in Cuzco in Peru was a world-class Indian restaurant.
There's a joke about that.
Bear in mind how much the Brits love their curry. It's. I mean, like chicken tikka masala is officially our national dish.
Yeah.
And so we found this place in Peru. It was like the only place that did Indian, and we're thinking, okay, this is probably going to be one of those affairs where it's going to be really bad, and we're going to have a serious case of the runs in the morning kind of thing. And yet it turned out to be one of the very best curries I've ever had ever. And there was a whole bunch of Brits. I had to say to the owner, says, look, speaking from a curry loving nation, your place is like first class.
It's kind of
I've never had it.
You've never had Indian food?
Nope. We don't have stuff like that here in northern Michigan. We have cafes and things like that, but McDonald's and Burger King, but that's pretty much about it. We got a few Chinese places, which are pretty good, but other than that, no, we don't have a lot of diversity. We got something called pasties. I don't know if you ever eaten any of those.
It sounds like something you put on a stripper.
There are probably multiple Chinese.
I know.
Yeah.
There are probably multiple Chinese and multiple Indians within like a 10-minute walk of my house.
Right now, the Nerdy Rodents misspelled Thai food so bad that Nerdy belongs in the Star Wars universe.
Technically a pasty from the English county of Crohn. Yeah, technically a pasty is like from the English county of Cornwall, and anything else that professes to be a pasty is technically a pie. It's kind of one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be back in a
rutabaga.
bit. I just need to go and make some preparations for a bit. I shall be back.
Okay.
And that's not entirely true. Pasties were basically invented independently in Cornwall and in Finland. And they look surprisingly similar with slightly different ingredients.
So they tried.
They used them in the mines.
Engines can create food.
They tried a pasties here, but then people stopped going to strip clubs.
Jesus.
It's true. Even though it's a terrible joke, it's true.
It's not just a terrible
Time to
joke.
bust out the super glue. Now, I sliced my finger open last night.
Oh no.
Kitty, are you next to the surface of the sun?
You're just jealous that I'm paler than you.
She's ascending.
No, you got a whiteout screen actually.
No, I'm here.
The sun's back.
The sun's back. The clouds went away. Like there's a window right behind me.
Oh.
I was thinking the super glue was because she was shaking them so hard the pasties were falling off.
No, I've just got my like heavy duty workout sports bra top on. No need for pasties. Besides, honestly, there's too much to cover for a pasty for me. Like, I mean,
yeah, me too.
Right next to that 20,000 kilowatt light bulb that you're next to.
Just go get some duct tape.
Daylight filtering in from the window.
I'll never complain about my lighting again.
Okay, have you never heard of curtains?
I need to be able to see my son when he plays outside. So that's why the window's open. And usually I'm not on streams this early.
The only thing I'll say, Kitty, is for the amount of sunlight you've been exposed to today, your vampire credentials have gone down a lot.
Now I'm a day walker.
I knew you were gonna say that. Every time I think of that scene,
wow,
in Blade, where what's his face is like, Daywalker, join me.
The backyard.
Awesome.
I haven't watched Blade in years, so
it's always on TV or HBO or just in general. It's always on TV.
Fun fact: Superglue was originally invented for what I just used it for, as a liquid bandage. It was basically sutures, like combat sutures. And because this cut on the tip of my pinky, it's like right here underneath my nail at the very tip of my finger.
Ooh.
A Band-Aid's not going to go there. So a dollop of super glue, let it dry, and you're good to go.
It's what they used on my chest when they put it back together.
Yep. I learned that trick from a doctor in the ER when I hit my thumb with the table saw.
If it's in a weird spot where you can't really put a Band-Aid on it, because like there's no way to really bandage the very tip of your pinky, like finger in general.
So I know you can't tell, but I took off a piece of my finger. Let's see if I took off a piece of my finger with a slicer when I was in when I went to ASU.
There we go, artificial clouds.
I worked at the College Street Deli. Oh, look at those old fingers. They tell a story. But right there, I took off a piece of my finger with a slicer, with a meat slicer. If you can see the indent right there. And Superglue saved my finger. Because the guy, he was one of those weirdos who always was wearing jogging shorts, always running around campus. He was like a 25th year senior. But he saved my finger. He was smart enough to be like, hey, you're panicking here. Put some super glue on it. And it saved my finger.
Right there on the very tip of my finger. It's not a super deep cut, but it was deep enough to bleed.
Oh, I can see it.
So, where the little super glue is.
Super glue works.
See, obviously, job I working. Obviously, the most common injury I tend to get is paper cuts, which are nothing but you'd think you've been busted open really badly. The amount of blood that comes from a paper cut.
So I'm working on some masks for a friend. We've got Venom.
Oh, that's awesome!
And the white glow in the dark.
Oh, heck yeah!
And then this is a custom design that he wanted.
Mr. Sexy.
Going away. And these pink strippers are glow in the dark as well. So awesome. This is glow in the dark. My artificial clouds have dispersed because I was vaping and blowing it behind my monitor so that it would act like the clouds do when they move across in the sky. But at least you guys can see how pretty blue my eyes are. Like, I do love my eyes.
Yep. You're like the cat on Alice in Wonderland. Only the eyes are red.
Actually, that's the one thing that does shine through is the blue eyes there. So.
But if I could choose my eye color...
You got a bug on your tongue.
But no, if I could choose my eye color, it would either be purple or silver. But I do love my blue eyes. I've always wanted either silver or violet eyes.
So silver is cool. I've had every fake contact you could possibly think of. Purple, like a glowing purple, would be awesome.
Yeah, that would.
That was Samuel L. Jackson's reasoning for wanting a purple lightsaber.
Or is it because he's a giant Lakers fan?
No, it was he likes the color purple, and they were like, that doesn't fit the lore, but so he got one anyway.
That's awesome. I bet he said, "Mother effer, give me a purple lightsaber."
I know he wanted like a lightsaber color just to distinguish himself a little bit from everyone else. So it always altered the lore for Samuel L. Jackson.
Because typically a Jedi only wields either white, yellow, green, or blue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it was generally green or blue to begin with, and then they added those sort of other colors.
Yeah, the yellow came in when Temple Guardians became a thing.
I'm not gonna ask why.
Yeah.
Randy, you're not a Star Wars geek?
Fan, but not geek.
I have.
Sorry, I love Star Wars, so
I'm
it's
a
pretty
geek
awesome.
in general.
But when
I have all the comic books from the 90s.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, it ruined it when I saw a Wookiee yelling like Tarzan in one of the movies, and I'm like, I'm done.
That's all the movies.
You guys see that part?
That is the best movie.
No. Literally grabbed a rope and swung out and yelled exactly.
Oh
like
no, that
Tarzan.
wasn't a Wookiee.
That
was
somebody in a
that was an
galaxy.
Ewok.
The Ewoks.
Ewok in Return of the Jedi.
Was it?
Greatest movie of all. One of the greatest movie of all times is Return of the Jedi.
It's one of the newer movies. It wasn't Return of the Jedi. It was one of the newer ones.
No, it was an Ewok in Return of the Jedi.
Then
I know exactly.
Well, they might have done it too, but I know I saw a Wookiee do it.
No, hold on. Actually, hold on. I think it actually may have been Chewie that did it.
They were attacking.
They were attacking one of the stilt walkers,
yeah,
weren't they?
It was. They were attacking the Wookiee world.
I think it was. I actually think you're right. It was Chewbacca who did the Tarzan yell.
Oh, that's in. That's when. When? Oh, I'm going to Star Wars.
The Stiltwalkers would still be in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yep.
The AT-AT is what you're talking about, or the AT-STs.
The AT-ST, yeah.
I don't know. Either way, yelling like Tarzan kind of, it's like, okay, you just strayed away from your own universe here. So,
well, it's called an Easter egg.
Piss poor writing.
I have so I collect odd things. I'm a hoarder. I have all kinds of weird things. I'm an extreme Star Trek and Doctor Who fan. Okay, I have a comic book where Matt Smith meets Captain Picard, where the Doctor Who meets Captain Picard. You know, anything's possible. It's one of the most crap comics ever, but it's hilarious because the TARDIS
Could you imagine,
it appears on the Enterprise.
You could heat your tea up with the sonic screwdriver.
I remember a crossover that it was.
So he's getting Earl Grey.
Star Trek and X-Men.
Oh, awesome! I have a lot of the old what ifs. I have a lot of the old what ifs. Don't make me go get my long box. It's buried in my closet somewhere. But I collected a lot. I have a lot of Battlestar Galactica comics. A lot of Star Wars, Star Trek.
See, I think this is where I think myself and Jen actually disagree on the topic. That I prefer the remake of Battlestar Galactica. I think she prefers the original. So
I'm the same. I prefer
the remake.
I do too. I quote the remake all the time, especially to end arguments. I always say, if you go far enough back in history, you can always blame some amoeba for splitting in two.
Well,
I'm quoting Colonel Ty.
Well, there was all the there was all the Chuck Norris jokes going around a few years ago, wasn't there? There was a great meme saying like Chuck Norris fears Adama. You know.
Oh, come on, Jamie Bambier. If you have not seen the speech that Lee Adama gives at Gaius Baltar's trial, you have not seen Battle. Oh, it's one of the when I'm having a bad day, I put it on. That one episode is amazing.
Yeah.
Just that episode is amazing.
Is that with Lauren
brilliant. Yeah, that is one of my favorite clips from the whole of Battlestar Galactica. Is Lee Adama actually defending Baltar? Because Baltar throughout most of the series is an asshole, but
complete ass.
Yeah, but he kind of comes good at the very end. He does, but he is a complete arse throughout most of the series. But
that's life,
everything
though.
Lee Adama said, it's like, yeah, the guy was put in an impossible position. You know,
exactly. He was put in an impossible situation. I'm trying not to quote the speech because it's such an amazing speech. You guys should look it up.
I'm trying it into so it's easier to read with a card, but it's a heartbreaker.
Oh, that's awesome.
These are for my nail tech, actually. I'm a little bummed because he's going to be moving out to Vegas because his son's out there and he wants to get his son to move to Florida, and he's like fighting to get primary custody because like his ex is kind of a cunt. Wouldn't even let him visit for his birthday, and like it's a big headache. But
and Vegas is not, and I'm gonna say this: if you live in Vegas, I'm not trashing you, but as someone who frequently goes there, it's not necessarily somewhere I would go to raise a kid. Just saying. I'm just saying. It's a transient city where people come from all around the world to strike it rich still in their head,
There's a lot of parts of the city, though, that if you move to, it's like any other traditional city in the United States.
I agree with you.
They have their tech center. They have their manufacturing base. They have their, it's all these other areas. Now, if you try to move near Paradise, yeah, it's.
I actually know someone who's from there. I also think of this from the school system standpoint. They rank really low with children with special needs. And that's always like the first thing, because I wanted to move there because I was a degenerate gambler. And I was like, let me check out their school system, and it's just, it's subpar. But it's cheating because I have, like, in California, we have an infrastructure that takes care of people with special needs. So when I look at other states, I'm like, ooh, that's scary, But they do it here on purpose for a reason. Like I said, I'm not trying to trash Vegas too much because I will be coming back.
And where I'm at, everything's kind of sprawled out.
Go ahead.
No, everything's kind of sprawled out here. If you want to go to the butcher, you got to go 50 miles south. If you want to get a decent haircut, you go 30 miles west. And if you want to see farms, you go about 50 miles east. So
yeah, well, that's pretty much the whole Upper Peninsula. There really aren't any population centers of any size.
Yeah, each town has like 200 people tops. And
yeah,
all on Highway 2.
Yeah. People didn't believe me when I was saying that we had to drive an hour to a Walmart. People would not believe there was anywhere in the U.S. that was more than 15 minutes from a Walmart.
I in a car, I live about 4.5 minutes from a Walmart with traffic. with traffic. And about 2 minutes from a Starbucks with traffic.
Yeah, where we were, it was literally the shortest drive was to go into Wisconsin, to cross into the next state to find a Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Yeah, but Purple, you live right by the border, don't you?
Well, not anymore. Now I'm in Minnesota, but yeah.
We have 2 mega Walmarts and one, I guess, regular Walmart just in my town.
Yep. Slowly taking over the world.
Yeah, they go where like I always say, this place was a mom and pop kind of place, and they destroyed from when they showed up in the early 90s, 89, 90s on, they just kicked out every small business in this town.
Well, yeah, you can't compete with their supply chain.
No, and they have one of the best tracking systems in America, at least. When something is swiped off their shelf, it's taken out of their system. Like unfortunately, their tracking system is bar none. You can't beat it. You just can't.
Yeah, most grocery stores have that now. So when you like buy a single yogurt, it automatically puts it on for order.
Yeah, exactly. It's just sad what Walmart's done to this country. But for as much as I whine and complain, like I'm fronting because I go in there all the time. I go in there all the time.
If they would pay their workers a living wage, it would be a little bit different.
I agree with that as well. And I worked there when I was 18, 19-ish. They browbeat you to where you won't unionize.
Yeah.
So when you start, they're like, oh, look, you have health insurance, dental insurance, life insurance. You have all these things. But what they're not telling you is that they keep you below the poverty line on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Well, they can't really do that in some areas. Like here in Omaha, they have to start high schoolers out at $13 an hour here.
Oh, awesome.
That to even attract anybody to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because our unemployment is so fucking low. But if you go to like Stockton, California, it's the opposite.
So you're getting personal, sweet. I lived there. That's the car theft capital of California.
Yeah, Stockton is actually one of the prime examples we have of the opposite of Omaha. So
it's such a sad place. If you want to see human desolation, Stockton, California is definitely.
You guys have what, 30% unemployment?
Huh.
Well, I'm not from there. I lived there, and people were mad at me because my ex-wife and we moved there. We got an apartment, and I already had a job. And people were like, you're moving here, taking jobs away from people. And I'm like, I'm from California too, so you guys just don't qualify for these jobs,
Yeah.
It's just, what, honestly, it always starts with education, and everybody is on meth there. I've said this 100 times. In California right now, just like anywhere else, meth has taken over. So every other person is unqualified to do a job because they're too high, and Stockton is no different than anywhere else.
Stockton at one point had 40% of its houses vacant.
I would probably say it's higher, and the man who taught me to buy lockers, that's where we started buying lockers, was in Stockton. It's my ex-wife's father. He had a giant ranch out there, and he taught me, like, that's where we got the Sea-Doos with the keys in it and everything, because people just couldn't afford their lives anymore. Oh yeah, Stockton's a sad.
2008 and 9 really. 2008 and 9 destroyed Stockton, and then on top of that, the drug crisis, and then everything else, and now you've got 30% unemployment, despair, and then there's no jobs going there, so that you're just going to have this continual feedback loop.
And that's pretty much all of Northern California, because if you look at right now, they're having a rash of people breaking into cars in San Francisco. Well, there is nothing across the bay. Like in Oakland, in the surrounding areas, people are beyond poor, beyond what we would consider poor. And unfortunately, if you don't help people, they come to rob the rich people. And that's what's happening. People are literally coming across the bay because they know
until they start invading Palo Alto.
That's what I'm saying. It's already happening right now. If you look it up, like, you can see news stories where local news agencies are like, "Hey, what do we do? Like, honestly, what do we do?"
When the poor have nothing else to eat, they will eat
the rich.
Yeah, it's happening right now in NorCal.
Hey, I'm to the left of Lenin. I am uber fucking liberal socialist. Like,
I'm an anarcho-syndicalist, so yeah, I'm right with you.
Let's have a look at some of my.
San Francisco is a perfect example. Okay, San Francisco is a perfect example where people are millionaires and billionaires who live across the bay from some of the poorest people in America. That, like, what do you think is gonna happen? That's like when Alex Rodriguez got his SUV broken into, and he had 5 computers, a Rolex, a laptop. I almost Ralphed when I heard of that. I was like, what? And why would you keep that like hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff in your car anyways? You know, I don't know. I'm from California.
I don't say too much about my politics. I don't say too much about my politics, but to look at some of my books here, Rosa Luxemburg, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, Leon Trotsky, Vladimir Lenin. Yeah, it's little to the left.
Yeah, Lenin to me is a right-wing authoritarian.
Yeah, just a little.
That's why I said I'm to the left of Lenin.
Yeah, well, I
don't even know what species I am.
It's one of my. It's yeah, I've got very mixed views on Lenin actually, but I always find it like kind of saying there's a very famous
character of Lenin. Read what he did to the sailors at St. Petersburg.
Oh, Kronstadt, you mean? Kronstadt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the always been like the biggest back and forth between Marxists and anarchists. That argument is Kronstadt. It's to the point. It's almost to the point where I'm almost sick of arguing about now. So it's
I don't even like Marx anymore because of I think Bakunin criticized Marx appropriately. I think Marx is just another statist.
It's some fair critiques, but
yeah, I'm full on anarchist now.
Yeah,
I don't know much.
I mean,
about
I'm not full on anarchist. I have issues with that as well, but I mean, I always like laugh at the fact that one of my political heroes is a woman called Sylvia Pankhurst, who's someone Lenin criticised for being a bit too far to the left. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
Ooh, try these
anti-political pro harmonica.
Yeah,
there's a bunch on here.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, my son is into sewing, and I'm here to encourage that all day long. All day long.
But,
I'm like, here, you need help? I will help you. Here, I just handed him the thing of fancy needles. Go right ahead. I encourage artwork all day long.
I perform artwork on spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are very colorful. They're a work of art.
My son has been using Lego for artwork. He's been making like different figures, like kind of like the little like brickhead style, but using his regular Legos. And he's made me, himself, his cousin, his speech therapist. Like he's made everybody out of them. I mean, they look nothing like them, but it doesn't matter. They're adorable.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Recently, Isaiah asked me to bring the Legos back out of storage. I said yes so fast he was shocked, but what he forgets is that I miss playing with the Legos. I miss we have our own Lego tables. They're made for kids, but I got him one, I got myself one. So we go off when we play Legos, man. We go off. I definitely encourage having your own Lego table. Which is
my house is filled with fucking Lego. They're everywhere. So this is the ginormous version of his speech therapist, Miss Lane, and here's his dog Sakura.
Aww.
Things I miss from my childhood is
so adorable.
Oh,
that's awesome.
But he made 2 of his speech therapists. Like he really likes her a lot, and then Sakura.
Oh.
Nerdy is trolling for a bruising.
Colorful too.
Oh, again. Are we gonna have this conversation again, Nerdy?
I always remember. I mean, I'm not normally a big fan of this guy, but
What's we got?
Oh, that's
TV
awesome.
the TV presenter James May. If you ever saw a series what he did on old toys, and he did they did this thing where they built a full size house out of Lego. For I mean, I don't know if any of you saw that or that.
Oh, we have so much Legos in this house. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. What do you think my basement floor looks like?
Oh
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw that series with James May. The whole we did things with old toys and like where he did like a full size like livable house thing out of Lego. And
I saw that.
Yeah, and he actually constructed like a full length railway using Hornby railway sets, which Hornby railway sets are amazing. And like they rebuilt a full size motor racing track made out of the Scalextrics, which are the old the car car things that with the little electric gun thing that you send around.
Okay, awesome. Lego is not an evil megacorp. Lego is still a family-owned company.
Yeah.
What is?
Well, I think we need to separate what the corporation produces for humanity and with how well the owners treat their employees. Those are two separate things that we can separate from each other. And Lego as a company produces some of the most awesome things in the universe to foster creativity in young people. Whether or not that family treats their employees
they've been hurting feet for a long time.
Completely separate question. And I don't know the answer to that question. But
I have not heard anything about, anything negative about the way the employees were treated.
But they're in Denmark, so they're usually that means they're unionized because everyone is unionized in Denmark.
Yeah, they're better unionized than we are in the UK, to be honest.
I'm going through an almost midlife crisis, and Legos have helped me out.
I would legit be willing to bet. I would put every last penny I own.
Speaking of union, sorry, I'm going to have to get my flag out here. Gonna have to get my flag out here.
That's
communications union, communication workers union. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I joined the IWW, even though that doesn't really help me at my place of employment.
Honestly, I get it in spirit, but honestly, the IWW is pointless fucking joining. Honestly, I think it's absolute. I mean, and I appreciate like back in the past a lot of the great struggles that they led, especially in the United States. But then, I think I don't know. I mean, I think possibly one of the weaknesses of their whole thing was that they made a lot of gains but couldn't hold on to the gains, and it's a bit. I think it's a bit of a sad fact that for any union to have a degree of
a lot of those gains were interrupted with that World War.
Yeah, but yes, but no. But I mean, look, the IWW was never a massive union. And there's a lot
do you guys
of time.
Think the Amish might have unions?
I have no idea.
Yeah, when they get married.
I wouldn't think so.
I mean, it's a sad reality of the fact that for any union to have success, you kind of do need the full-time bureaucrats, but then that creates another problem in of itself. And they become a problem.
Well, the bureaucrat is not a problem as long as they can be easily removed by the members.
Yeah.
That's the problem. My dad was a staunch union supporter, but that's going back, to the 1950s unions. And the unions of today and the unions of his day are completely different. And that's you hit on it right there about the bureaucrats, because if the people running it are not actually members of the union, then all the union is it's become an additional level of management. That's all.
Exactly.
I think this is the argument a lot of Marxists will probably make.
I want to show off my Skid Row T-shirt.
Is that a lot of the, union full-timers, the bureaucrats, they become like their own little layer in society of themselves and see themselves more as a go-between between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. That is, which is what a lot of Marxists will probably argue, and there is a good merit to that argument. Trade union leaders, despite some of their fiery rhetoric at times, they're not revolutionary types at all. Even like if you think back, if you think back to like the famous miners' strike in the UK in the mid-80s, everybody thought like Arthur Scargill was like a communist revolutionary. He absolutely was not. He absolutely was not at all. And
the big problem with some of these unions, especially like the UAW in the United States, is that they're too big. Like the UAW is for like 19 different companies.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so when they go to bat, they're so big that they have to have this unwieldy bureaucracy to manage everything. Yeah. Whereas if you split the UAW into just Ford employees, just General Motors employees.
Our union is the result of an amalgamation between the postal workers union, the telecoms workers, to become the community. But there's the biggest union in the UK is called Unite, and that was an amalgamation of something called Amicus and the old Transport and General Workers Union, which were two of the biggest, the top three unions in the UK. They were in two of them, and to me it shows that it's just in a lot of ways it shows a lot of a defeatist attitude that they trying to create these super unions rather than actually go out there and try and bring new people into unions and unionize new industries and companies. It's in a way kind of shows a little bit of the defeatism of the trade union leadership, that they just think that amalgamating themselves is going to give them more power, and it really doesn't. It really doesn't in the long run.
Yeah, I think the big problem is that there's a lot of not enough education on how to create a hierarchical structure rather than just utilizing what we typically know as the hierarchical structure. And therefore the union leaders themselves are so protected from the members coming after them that they get complacent.
Yeah, absolutely. That absolutely happens.
If the members could force a vote at any point in time to oust the union leaders, you bet they would be act a lot different.
Well, a
hell of a lot different.
I would say the closest Britain ever got to a full-on revolution was in 1919.
The whole world was that way, though.
Yeah, this is obviously the whole. Like the Russian Revolution was
you guys almost went syndicalist. It was that close.
The syndicalism was big in Britain at one time, but by 1990, the closest they got was. The Russian Revolution was like a massive stone thrown in the water and all the ripples that come out from that. So the problem was, though, that when we had that breakdown, because it was literally that whole exactly almost what Lenin described as the conditions of revolution being that the old order can't carry on in the same way and the lower orders don't want to carry on in the same way. But there wasn't any organization that was willing to push forward a revolution, and it almost fell into the laps of the trade unions. And literally, the prime minister of the country, David Lloyd George, went to like the 2 or 3 of the biggest union heads, like the mine workers, the boilermaker, general boilermakers union, and the railway workers, which were the 3 most powerful ones in unions in the country at the time. And he basically said to them, "You've won. You've beaten me. I'm going to have to resign. But now you will have to form a government." And when told that, what do you think the union leaders did? They just capitulated there on the spot.
Yeah, in the United States, they just shot everyone that was striking.
Yeah.
Ouch. Ooh, Perp, you'll love this one.
And you'll love the fact that the Pinkertons, which were the ones that were hired to shoot all the strikers, is now a major private security company.
Yeah, and they're still a-holes. That one's kind of floppy.
The Pinkerton detective agency's always been arseholes. So.
The other problem that the UK and the United States faced was in that era, the organized crime syndicates were a major power. And so people were very much in this rock and a hard place situation where they wanted to be against the police, but the gangs were so bad that they actually needed them. So there was no like pushback against structural power.
I don't think that was ever as big of an issue in the UK as it was in the United States.
A lot of familiar patches.
I mean, one of the big problems unions had in the United States was the infiltration of organized crime at one point. That didn't happen
until the 50s and 60s, though.
Well, it started in the 20s, though. It did start in the 1920s.
Yeah, it wasn't a big thing till the Teamsters in the 50s and 60s.
No, that's when it hit its height. That really was when it hit its height. Although I've got to say, I don't think Hoffa Jr. is much better than his old man, to be honest. But
well, once we find Hoffa Sr.
Yeah, but
he is in the old Giant Stadium, which they tore down and never found.
Yeah, I'm assuming Jimmy Jr. is still head of the Teamsters, isn't he? Last I checked.
Oh, probably.
Thank you.
But I don't think he's a lot better than his dad, to be honest.
Yeah, no, the mafia. I mean, the organized crime syndicates in the UK were pretty bad too.
They never were infiltrated the trade unions in the UK. Never.
Okay, hold on.
They were not sophisticated enough in the UK to do that. Trouble is, a lot of people had this idea trouble is, in the recent years, a lot of people watch Peaky Blinders and and think that's real history, and that organised crime was way more sophisticated than it was in the UK. No, I mean it. Hail Hydra.
I bought quite a few of these.
I think most people think of the Cray brothers.
Yeah, but they were not that organised. I mean, they were a pair of thugs who they were a pair of thugs who had a bit of a flair for publicity, but really were the basis of what they did was protection rackets, because the only thing they knew how to do was threaten and beat people up. They were not a sophisticated criminal organisation.
They were still heavily involved with La Cosa Nostra. They had partnerships with the Italian mafia.
Yeah, not as much as people think. The
gambling area.
Italian mafia. I mean, I know Angelo Bruno, who run the Philadelphia mob, had some dealings with Reggie Cray.
Anyone ever watched Daria? There you go.
Fucking love Daria.
The criminal gang. I'll just say the criminal gang that was way more organised in the UK was the South London gang. The Richardsons were way more organised than the Crays, and they weren't in. I mean, there was a thing. It was mainly because at one time, the American mafia were looking at setting up gambling operations in the UK. We'll look for some notable UK outfits to work with. And yeah, they had some dealings with the Krays, but nothing really happened. The Kray twins are like the most overrated gangsters in history. They really are. They were nothing special. They had a little bit of flair for celebrity, but they were not. They were never sophisticated criminal masterminds at all.
Oh, Cyborg, nice.
I'm a cyborg.
That's Falcon. Because it's
I want
Marvel.
Cyborg's DC.
nipples patch.
This one, I used to wear it, but it sent the wrong message, so I stopped wearing it. It's a guy with his mouth open. I have a ton of these. So
The Boy Scout patches.
I was a Boy Scout. My sister was a Girl Scout, so I have an unreal amount. And like those ones that say Cookie Safari 1985, I used to wear those.
I was an Eagle Scout, so.
Oh, heck yeah. I went all the way up to the 6th grade, but like where I'm from, you literally get stomped if you wear a Boy Scout uniform. And it's still like that to this very day. It's kind of sad. And yes, the California Rifles and Pistols Association was real.
Well, yeah, California didn't have gun control until the blacks showed up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we've all seen that movie.
The Black Panthers showed up with weapons at the state capitol, and then all of a sudden people went out gun control.
Oh,
And now,
can I show you something? You mentioned Black Panthers. Can I show you something?
yeah, because I could sit here and do patches all day.
Okay, yeah. Can I show you something that I have? This is one of my prized possessions right here. Perhaps on okay. I have this one, the Services to the People's book here by the Black Panther Party. Signed by David Hilliard.
Oh, wow. I forget about that.
That's one of my prized possessions.
That's awesome.
Mine was a simple gift of this, which was given to me by some random salesperson, and you'll recognize this, Scummer, as a B-24. It's not a Lancaster.
Yeah,
this is the American. This is what my grandfather flew in, but he was out of Britain for a little while. But he had done research on me as a sales guy and then bought me with this before he came in for his first sales call.
I told this story on a stream recently. My great auntie used to work at the Supermarine factory.
Spitfires.
Yeah, and she was there. Had a lucky escape because she was there when it was bombed and literally cycled home at like record speeds to just yeah, so she had a lucky escape because she was there. She was on shift when it was bombed and got up, and survived that.
Yeah, was she a fabric stretcher or was she working on the wood?
Honestly can't remember what she did there, but they had several factories because they manufactured different parts in different factories, and then I think it was kind of one of those things so they couldn't just like destroy the Spitfire production or whatever in one hit. But that was the Southampton Supermarine Works was one of that's the one she worked in at the time.
And Robert, the B-24 was the most produced airplane in World War II. I think 11,000 were produced, something like that.
I mean, I think the aircraft that shot down more other planes was the British Hawker Hurricane, which is weird because like if you get the Battle of Britain, the whole patriotic kind of mythos, but it's the Spitfire plane that's always put at the center of that. But the Hawker Hurricane was a plane that shot down more than any other.
Well, that's because the Hurricane A had a cannon and B was actually in production way before the Spitfire ever was. So there's probably twice as many Hurricanes available as there were Spitfires.
Yes, and but the other thing was like Spitfire went into production in 38. But here's the thing: was when we started having the bombing raids, the Spitfires were task was to engage the enemy fighter escort, like the ME-109s, so they could lead the Hurricanes to shoot down the bombers. That's kind of why.
So I was trying to show this shirt earlier. So in downtown LA, I don't know how they can get away with this. And yes, this is a trophy from a firefighter. The fire department, this is literally their motto in downtown LA. Skid Row, ace in the hoe. It is on every it's on every fire truck, it's on every t-shirt, it's on badges. And I love to point that out wherever I can. Do you guys have something that says ace into hoe in your downtown areas? No?
No.
So only in LA they can get away.
Coach.
It's one of those things where because it's a predominantly black area, it's semi-derogatory from what they're saying. But it's on everything. You would literally have to change every uniform, like take it off of all the cars. But it's downtown LA is relatively a small area.
The Hawker Hurricane had a 4x20 had four 20-millimeter cannons on it to shoot down the bombers. That is insane. Oh my god. The nose gun of the Messerschmitt 109 was one 20-millimeter cannon. This thing had 4 in the wings.
Yeah, the Hurricane was heavy duty.
Oh, I'm addicted to late 80s and early 90s anime. So I'm obsessively watching like 6 shows at once right now.
I love the 60s
I
movie.
watched Deed Vampire Hunter.
What's that, Randy?
Deed Vampire Hunter.
Oh, okay. Heck
it
yeah.
It was like a 90s. But, it was really good. It had really good artwork. I like really good art in animation. So other than a lot of stuff is stupid.
You brought up a good point, and that's why I watched like a lot of like the old crappy Ed Wood movies, a lot of those old movies. The one thing I love is that if you look at the sets, those were built by hand. Someone made those. Mm-hmm. Everything that you see in these movies were prepared, was planned out. All the old school anime were drawn by hand. These are just things that are kind of going by wayside. And I don't hate computers, but they just don't exist anymore because of them. So it's one of those things. It's a lost art. Like even my
I think I'm gonna get off of here.
Yeah.
How many people know what this is?
Oh yeah. I'm old now.
I do.
It just reminds me of the commercials,
Robert,
where there was
Robert, it took the British to be able to tell us how to put the F4U Corsair on a boat and actually fly it off of a carrier. They couldn't make their own carrier airplanes, but they could take ours and make them carrier airplanes. It was a weird thing.
Hey, there's someone who drives a Healy around my town, and they have a Union Jack on it and everything. And it still has the
All right, guys, I gotta go.
Okay. I was actually kind of thinking that I need to cut this off here. So
All right.
if we can go around and do the goodbyes and the shilling here.
I'm ready.
You're up, Will.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys just wanted to see my pretty face. So, okay, hold on. Hi, I'm Godless Sewing from the Godless Sewing channel. Every Thursday, Jen from Jen's Little Corner, and now Kitty, the Empress of Hell, and myself, we do the What the Fuck show. And if Jen's not around, because she does have a life, we usually do the Sewing Circle as an alternative, which we probably will be doing tomorrow. So join us at 7 o'clock West Coast time. Be there or be square. Oh, and speaking of B, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, B is streaming at 5 o'clock West Coast time. So you should check them out as well. And there you go.
Okay. Jeff, what have you got? And just freezing up on us. Yeah, okay, we'll have to come back to him. I think he lost the signal. How about you, Kitty?
Okay, so I will be on the Sewing Circle because, like Will said, Jen's probably not going to be able to do a WTF this week, so I'll be on the Sewing Circle tomorrow. Probably going to have a really sore arm because I'm getting my first COVID vaccine tomorrow, and I am excited about that. A little bit nervous because, Chris is still feeling a little bit under the weather from his first dose, and my son's birthday party is this weekend. So I'm just hoping that if I do feel sick, it doesn't happen until after, because Chris started feeling sick on Monday. So I'm hoping, it doesn't hit me until then either. But I'll be able to show off my little Band-Aid from my COVID vaccine tomorrow night on the Sewing Circle. And other than that, I'm almost caught up with everything that I need to do, like in real life, mask wise and everything like that, so that I can get to making the produced video that I need for my stream. We're only halfway through the month, so I still have some time to get the stream done before the month of April ends. So I will keep everybody posted for that. I'll also probably try to pop on for B stream later. If I, don't get too busy with getting caught up with what I'm doing. But, wear a mask, don't be a dick, get vaccinated when it's your turn. It's important.
Yep.
And that's
Yes.
Hey, will you go hang this up?
Okay, I think Jeff's back.
Yay.
Okay, sorry. I lost internet for a second. Okay, I will be doing my usual things on Sunday. I'll be doing Asterix. That'll be on Noodles channel this week, and then One Ring stream after that. I'm off next week, so maybe I'm thinking about bringing back the Wacky World of Twitter for one off next week. So I'm thinking of former Governor Mike Huckabee, because that guy tweets a lot of shit. So that might be something coming up in the next week on my channel.
Is he evangelical?
Oh yeah,
he's a former minister.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I try not to pay too much attention to these people.
He tweets some shit out, so it's like, I'm sure I could have a lot of fun going through with some people going through his Twitter and taking that apart. So watch this space. Hopefully I'll be able to bring that back for a one-off next week. That's pretty much it for me.
Okay. So, Swede, what have you got?
Oh, I just randomly appear on people's streams now.
Okay, well, do you have any scheduled appearances in the next week or so?
No, I don't think so. Let's see here. On the 21st, I will be on the Dig on America podcast with Mikey, Dutch, and Hassan, and we'll be going over the infrastructure plan a little bit, as well as discussing whether the national debt is really a big concern at all for either the United States, Germany, or Great Britain, and getting into a little bit of modern monetary theory and educating on that. So fun times. If you need a good thing to fall asleep to, that'd probably be it.
Ooh, I like that.
I've been told that my voice would be great for doing like ASMR economic like textbook reading so people could fall asleep.
Okay, so no joke, I fall asleep to stuff like that. So yes, there is a market for it.
I never thought of doing it as textbook readings. I can see that though.
I've recently been falling asleep to a biology book that I owned. I found it on YouTube, so I've been falling asleep to it.
I recently celebrated my 41st birthday, so I'm happy about that. And I got my first dose a couple of weeks ago. 2 weeks ago today, and in 2 weeks I get my second dose.
Awesome.
And then I will be in Phoenix a couple of weeks after that because I get to travel again after my vaccine. So hooray! Hopefully the South African variant doesn't skip over here because I've heard it breaks through the vaccine.
Yeah, I knew it was just a matter of time before they found some variants that were going to go past the vaccine.
Yeah, and beware of, in California, the P1 variant is starting to spread there. And if you're not vaccinated and you're young, it's hitting young people really hard. So there's a lot of people that are 20, 30 years old that are going into the ICU, and it's not good. So all indications are that the vaccine is protecting people against the P1 variant, but it's still very virulent and it spreads easy. And so, as Kitty would say, don't be a dick and wear a mask.
Damn right. And Swede gave us another reason to stay up at night and think about things. Thank you. South African variant. Another scary thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, financial collapse and now another pandemic on top of a pandemic. So, hey.
Yay. Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, quite all right. Anyway, yeah, I've just got my regular stuff. Of course, back here tomorrow night at midnight. I'm usually on with Godless's Sewing Circle or What the Fuck, whichever is running, and Friday evenings with the Shills at 7 Central. So yeah, that's about it for me. I don't really have anything else scheduled. So just to close out here, I would like to thank my Patreon subscribers. Von Rick, Junie the Apostate, Ox, Robert X, Mikey Famine, The Lavender Lady, and Greg Hartwick. I really do appreciate the support, and it's nice that I can at least have the channel supporting itself, that I'm not having to put money into it. Not that I ever expect to make any money from it, but if it's a self-supporting hobby, I'm good with that. So much appreciate the support from other people here. And with that, we will bid you all adieu. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.